Chapter 235. Qin Fengyu was drinking by himself in a pavilion 30 miles away from the ghost doctor. Guopai didn't treat this senior unfairly. After all, he called him here to be a fighter. Qin Fengyu ate freely with a jar of good wine and 3 plates of delicious food. Since you're here, why hide? Just when the 4 of them were 5 miles away from Qin Fengyu, they stopped. Qin Fengyu shouted, and the 4 of them appeared in the pavilion. Your Mount Buzhou's Qin Fengyu? Yin Tianjin asked in surprise after seeing Qin Fengyu's appearance. Yin Tianjin, I haven't seen you in a few decades. How have you been? Qin Fengyu said with a smile. His gaze landed on the other 3 people. 4 Symbols Sect, you must be the other 3 sect leaders of the 4 Symbols Sect. Mount Buzhou's Qin Fengyu? The other 3 people from the 4 Symbols Sect widened their eyes. Qin Fengyu, Peng Tianhua, and the 2 heroes of Mount Buzhou. They were the top experts of Hua, Xia 30 years ago. It seemed like this was the expert invited by He Yuanji's granddaughter. The 4 people from the 4 Symbols Sect felt a headache coming on. Brother Qin, why are you here today? Yin Tianjin asked softly. After drinking someone else's jar of wine, I naturally have to watch the door for them. Qin Fengyu said with a smile. I wonder why the 4 of you rushed here in such a hurry. This seems to be the territory of the Ghost Doctor sect. Let's not beat around the bush. There was quite a commotion at the Ghost Doctor sect just now. I want to go and take a look. Chen Wanjin said loudly. Being loud might not be reasonable. The Ghost Doctor sect is fine. Please go back. Qin Fengyu drank a mouthful of wine and said with a smile. What if we have to go and take a look? Li Feng looked at Qin Fengyu and said, Then what's the point of talking about it? You're going to the Ghost Doctor sect to cause trouble. I'm here to watch the place. If you want to make things difficult for me, then let's fight. I've recovered from my hidden illness, and I haven't fought anyone yet. I want to see what the 4 Symbols Sect's 4 fasting sect can do. Qin Fengyu's aura increased greatly. Old man Qin, although you're stronger than us, you won't be able to gain any advantage with 4 against 1. After saying that, the 4 of them surrounded Qin Fengyu. Third brother, the Ghost Doctor sect's actions are not small this time. Go and inform Yin Zue. Have him lead all the Xiantian disciples of the 4 Symbols sect to besiege the Ghost Doctor sect. It's better to kill the wrong person than to let them go, Yin Tianjin said loudly. Xiao Renduan flew towards the 4 Symbols sect. You're really looking down on this old man. If the 4 of you had formed the 4 Symbols formation, this old man might have been trapped here. Now, with just the 3 of you, do you think you can trap this old man? As Qin Fengyu spoke, his movement technique sped up. In just a moment, the outcome was clear. The 3 from the 4 Symbols sect were unable to gain the upper hand in their encirclement. Instead, they suffered light injuries of varying degrees. However, Qin Fengyu's expression became uglier and uglier. 5 minutes later, he felt Xiao Renduan's aura appear 10 li away. The Ghost Doctor sect was most likely in deep trouble this time. After a moment, Xiao Renduan and the other 3 gathered together. The 4 of them surrounded Qin Fengyu in the middle. After decades of cooperation, Qin Fengyu could not find any loopholes. Although the 4 of them were unable to injure him, he was also unable to escape. The 4 Symbols sect's people had already arrived 3 li away from the Ghost Doctor sect. Get out of the way. Don't tell me that you want to stop us with just a bunch of Hotian Wuxiu. If you don't want to die, scram. In Sun said loudly. The 18 Hotian Wuxiu of the Ghost Doctor sect stood firmly in their positions, unwilling to leave. Sun, why are you wasting time with them? Third Master said that it's better to kill the wrong person than to let them go. A bunch of Hotian Wuxiu just kill them. A burly man said loudly. Before he finished speaking, he had already made his move. The Ghost Doctor sect's disciple, standing not far away from him, coughed out a mouthful of blood. He could only breathe out but not in. Xiao Yu, go and inform great-grandfather. We can't hold on for long. The elder of the remaining 17 pushed one of the youths away and faced the burly man from before. The silver needle in his hand was inserted directly between the burly man's eyebrows. He said softly, Little Peng, I've avenged you. 4 Symbols sect's disciples, pay attention. Although they are only Hotian Wuxiu, Their strength is not weak. Don't hold back. Kill them for me. Insun saw the burly man on his side fall to the ground and shouted loudly. Nearly 100 Xiantian experts against 16 Hotian Wu Xiao, and in less than 3 minutes, all 16 Ghost Doctor Sect's disciples were killed. Great-great-grandfather. Before the youth called Xiao you could shout, Guopai gently pulled him to the side. The Great Formation had already been activated, and now was the crucial moment. If they disturbed the people in the formation now, not only would they not be able to remove the negative karma from their bodies, they would also be heavily injured and even lose their lives. The four symbols sex people are here. Guopai looked at Xiao Yu and asked softly. The youth nodded fiercely. When he returned to the stronghold, he had heard his brother's miserable cry. He knew that the other people who were guarding the stronghold with him had already been killed by the four symbols sex people. Do you want to come with me or wait here? Guopai asked softly. The youth's expression was resolute as he said one word, go. Guopai brought Dezhu with him to the stronghold's entrance. Nearly 100 four symbols sex disciples had already killed their way to the entrance of the Ghost Doctor sect. Four symbols sect. During the early Tang dynasty, the four heroes of Cloudy Mountain established the four symbols sect with the mission of saving the dying and helping the wounded, robbing the poor, and giving to the rich. Unexpectedly, it would become like this after 1,000 years. If the four heroes of Cloudy Mountain were still alive, they would probably be angered to death. If the four symbols sect disciples were still alive, I'm sure they would be furious. Guopai said slowly as he looked at the aggressive four symbols sect disciples. Brat, who are you? How dare you slander our four symbols sect? Are you tired of living? Inzue said loudly. However, he was surprised that Guopai would directly talk about the history of the four symbols sect. Even some of the juniors in the sect did not know about these things. How did this youth know? I am a doctor. Today, I came to the Ghost Doctor sect to compare my medical skills. If you want to cause trouble in the Ghost Doctor sect today, then wait until I'm done with the Ghost Doctor sect. Otherwise, you'll have to bear the consequences, Guopai said with a smile. You talk big. If you don't want to die, then hurry up and leave, Insun said loudly. However, with Guopai's strength at the peak of the Xiantian realm, no one dared to step forward to test him. This is a great revitalizing pill, a pill that I recently refined. It can allow a person to directly enter the enlightening stage from the peak of the Xiantian realm. Since I'm not done with the Ghost Doctor sect, I don't want you to go in now. Give me 2 hours and this great revitalizing pill will be yours, Guopai said with a smile. Brat, I have a piece of Millennium Meteoric Iron here. It can be used to forge a divine weapon. If you step aside, I'll give you this meteoric iron, haha. Insun picked up a football-sized stone from the ground and said with a smile. The others also laughed. If you say it's a great revitalizing pill, then it's a great revitalizing pill. If your pill is a great revitalizing pill, then mine is a Millennium Meteoric Iron. You don't believe it? Dazhu, I've been giving you a lot of blood recently. Take this thing and nourish yourself. After saying that, he threw the pill to Dazhu. Dazhu did not hesitate and directly swallowed it. Then, a powerful aura spread out from his body, causing everyone's eyes to widen. That big guy really entered the enlightening stage from the peak of the Xiantian realm, Inzue murmured. Chapter 236. Guopai looked at the shocked expression of the four symbols sect disciples and was satisfied. He was very satisfied with this situation, so he took out another great revitalizing pill from his body. What this young master said just now is still effective, Guopai said with a smile. Shuedazhu felt the changes in his body and smiled. If his grandfather was here and knew that he was so powerful, he would definitely be very happy. Second uncle, I've been stuck at the peak of the Xiantian realm for 3 years. Insun looked at the pill in Guopai's hand and said softly, dealing with the Ghost Doctor sect is a matter of time. Just give them an hour. Inzue looked at Guopai and then looked around. The Ghost Doctor sect stronghold was built on 3 sides of the cliff. As long as this exit was guarded, the Ghost Doctor sect people would not be able to escape. 2 hours was neither long nor short, but it could be exchanged for a great revitalizing pill, this was a good deal. This senior, I see that you're already in the opening and closing stage, so I know that this pill is useless to you. If you can let the Four Symbols sect disciples wait here for 2 hours, I think that if you take this pill, it will be very beneficial for you to break through the enlightened stage and enter the fasting stage. Guopai said and took out another pill from his body. It was a 9-colored pill, and a strong medicinal fragrance made Inzue could not help but take a few deep breaths. Boy, are you serious? Inzue asked softly. Just some small things. The sect's martial uncle gave me a lot of them. I just want to solve my own problem with the Ghost Doctor sect. If Senior agrees, I can give you this thing first. Guopai said with a smile. Inzue's eyes widened. All the Four Symbols sect disciples listened to my order. Within 2 hours, you are not allowed to cross this line. After 2 hours, besiege the Ghost Doctor sect. Inzue said loudly. Guopai nodded lightly and threw the 2 pills to Inzue. He turned around and walked in. Shuedeju followed with a trace of confusion. Bad master, why did you give them such good pills? Shuedeju asked in a low voice. There are 91 people, 18 of them are from the enlightened order, and the rest are all innate masters. Can the 2 of us defeat them? Guopai said with a smile. It's just 2 pills. Old master, he and the others only need half an hour to deal with the problem of karma in their bodies. When the time comes, whoever took my things will have to spit it out. Jushin smiled. Bad guy. They killed my brother and the others. You must not let them off. Xiaoyu said softly with red eyes. This matter is your Ghost Doctor sect problem. When the time comes, your Ghost Doctor sect will resolve it. Take this pill. As for how far you can go, that will depend on your own luck. Guopai said as he handed Xiaoyu a meridian opening pill. Xiaoyu looked at Guopai gratefully. Guopai then looked at the door to the netherworld. So many vengeful souls have been released. Their resentment has disappeared. Don't tell me that this merit is not counted on this young master's head. Guopai secretly thought. Guopai, who had no immortal power, could only vaguely feel 9 ghost soldiers standing beside the door to the netherworld. Guopai did not know that if the door to the netherworld was not closed, the power of merit would not fall. Outside the Ghost Doctor sect, there were nearly 100 people from the Four Symbols sect. According to the agreement just now, no one broke into the Ghost Doctor sect. However, no one was allowed to come out of the Ghost Doctor sect. The entire Ghost Doctor sect was in a state of panic. In the pavilion 30 li away, Qin Fengyu had been fighting with the 4 sect masters of the Four Symbols sect for nearly an hour. However, under the joint attack of the 4 people, Qin Fengyu slowly showed signs of fatigue. Brother Qin, this matter has nothing to do with your Buzhou Mountain. Why do you want to get involved in this muddy water? If the Ghost Doctor sect promised you something, our Four Symbols sect can also promise you. Whatever you want, just say it. If this goes on, the 4 of us will no longer attack like this. In Tianjin said loudly. In Tianjin, from what you said, you haven't used your full strength yet. Then use your full strength. Let me see what the Four Symbols sect is capable of. Qin Fengyu said as he bit his tongue. If you want to defeat me, I have to make you leave something behind. The 4 people of the Four Symbols sect looked at each other. Suddenly, their auras surged. Then, the 4 of them stood in a row with Yin Tianjin at the front. The other 3 people transmitted their internal energy into Yin Tianjin's body as if they were passing on their skills. Then, they struck out with their palm. Qin Fengyu did not dare to be careless. He gathered all the energy in his body and fiercely met this palm. Bang! With a sound, a huge energy wave turned the pavilion into dust. Qin Fengyu flew back 100 meters and squatted on the ground. The internal energy in his body seemed to have been sucked out. He sat cross-legged and did not dare to use any internal energy. The 4 sect masters of the Four Symbols sect were not any better. The 4 of them also sat cross-legged 100 meters away from Qin Fengyu. However, the 4 of them formed a circle with their palms facing each other. They were quickly recovering the internal energy in their bodies. Guopai frowned. The time taken for the gates of hell to open had far exceeded his expectations. The 2 hours were almost up, But the gates of hell did not have any intention of closing. Yuanjia and the other people of the Ghost Doctor sect were flushed red. Guopai could clearly feel the changes in their bodies. Because of the gates of hell, the few people of the enlightening stage broke through to the fasting stage and avoided the heavenly wrath. 30 li away from the Ghost Doctor sect, Qin Fengyu's complexion had just improved when Li Feng of the Four Symbols sect stood up. The other three people were in a similar situation as Qin Fengyu. They were still unable to use their internal energy, but Li Feng had already recovered 70%. Qin Fengyu, I won't kill you. You have already done your best with the Ghost Doctor sect. This time, this old woman wants to find trouble with the Ghost Doctor sect. No one can stop her. After speaking, Li Feng's figure flashed and disappeared. Qin Fengyu helplessly shook his head. Little bad. Lao Qin has already done his best. The rest is up to you. A distance of 30 li was only a few minutes for an expert of the fasting stage. When Li Feng arrived at the Ghost Doctor sect, she saw nearly 100 disciples of the Four Symbols sect staring at each other without entering. Her face immediately darkened. Yin Zue, this old woman and your father have been fighting with the experts of the Buzhou Mountain for so long. You can't even take down the Ghost Doctor sect? Li Feng loudly asked Yin Zue. Fourth aunt, look at this. This is called the Great Revitalizing Pill. After taking it, you can directly enter the enlightening stage. Yin Zue excitedly said, There is someone inside looking for trouble with the Ghost Doctor sect. They told us to wait outside for 2 hours. They will be here soon. Ha! Li Feng raised her hand and slapped Yin Zue. Just because of this pill, you actually gave the Ghost Doctor sect 2 hours. If the Four Symbols sect is unable to take down the Ghost Doctor sect this time, you will be a sinner. Everyone listen to my orders. Follow me and kill the Ghost Doctor sect. Leave no one alive. As she spoke, Yin Zue seemed to have realized something. That's right, if they wanted the pill, they had to catch that young man. If they delayed the Ghost Doctor sect's important matter, it would be troublesome. The more Yin Zue thought about it, the colder her heart became. She directly jumped up and rushed to the front. It hasn't even been 2 hours. What is the meaning of this senior rushing indirectly? Guopai narrowed his eyes and looked at the big-headed Yin Zue and asked loudly, Brat, I don't know what kind of grudge you have with the Ghost Doctor sect. If you don't want to die, then scram. Consider this old man giving you face. Otherwise, you will die with the Ghost Doctor sect. Yin Zue loudly shouted. Chapter 237. Guopai glanced at Yin Zue, an enlightening stage expert. However, his gaze soon fell on the old lady Li Feng, an early-stage fasting stage expert. He shook his head helplessly. If it was just Yin Zue, the enlightening stage expert, and the late-stage Xiantian stage disciple behind her, Guopai would still have some ways to deal with them. However, this old lady in front of him was already in the fasting stage. This time, he was in trouble. If he had known earlier, he would have let Yuer follow them. This old lady would be left to Yuer. Yin Zue, why are you wasting time with this brat? Kill him. Li Feng said loudly. Fourth aunt, this is the brat who gave me the pills just now. He is not from the Ghost Doctor sect. He is only 17 or 18 years old and is already at the peak of the Xiantian stage. I don't know which hidden sect he is from. If we kill him, I'm afraid it will attract some unnecessary trouble. Yin Zue said to Li Feng, Brat, we are here to cause trouble for the Ghost Doctor sect. Since you are not from the Ghost Doctor sect, hurry up and leave. Li Feng narrowed her eyes and said, You are a senior from the Four Symbols sect, right? My master has some connections with the seniors of your Four Symbols sect. Can you listen to me for a moment? Guopai said with a smile. Li Feng looked at Guopai and nodded lightly. Brat, I will give you 3 minutes. Hurry up and say what you want to say. Li Feng narrowed her eyes and said, Your Four Symbols sect originated from the early Tang dynasty. Back then, the four heroes of Cloud Mountain established the Four Symbols sect. 100 years later, they made a deal with our Tiandao sect. I don't know if Senior has heard of it. Although 1,000 years have passed, I think our Tiandao sect is still willing to complete this deal with the Four Symbols sect. Guopai said with a smile. Tiandao sect? Never heard of it. However, I would like to hear about the deal you mentioned. Li Feng said softly. 8 sky-grade medicinal pills in exchange for your 4 symbols sex, 4 symbols jade medallion. I wonder if Senior knows about this, Guo Pai said softly. Li Feng looked at Guo Pai in front of her, and her heart was in turmoil. She had seen the 4 symbols jade token in the ancient records of the 4 symbols sect. However, after 1,000 years, the 4 symbols jade token no longer existed. She had also seen the heaven grade pills in the ancient records. According to legend, a single heaven grade pill could allow a fasting expert to directly enter the core formation stage. This brat actually asked for 8 heaven grade pills. Brat, if your heavenly Tao sex master really has an agreement with us, then I can give you the 4 symbols jade token. However, can your heavenly Tao sect take out the heaven grade pill that you speak of? A pressure fell on Guo Pai as Li Feng loudly said. Our heavenly Tao sex alchemy skills aren't something that you mortal sex can imagine. Not to mention 8 heaven grade pills. I can even take out 80 of them. Guo Pai loudly said. However, in his heart, he was trying to buy as much time as he could. Haha, today I only wanted to destroy the Ghost Doctor sect. I didn't expect that there would be other gains. If that's the case, then you can stay in our 4 symbols sect and refine pills. After saying that, Li Feng stretched out her hand to grab Guo Pai. However, the moment she grabbed Guo Pai, she suddenly felt a sharp pain on her wrist. Old woman, don't bite off more than you can chew. If you have the ability, then fight me one-on-one. Don't tell me that a fasting expert doesn't dare to fight me. A Xiantian expert? Guo Pai said loudly as he waved the silver needle in his hand. All the disciples of the 4 symbols sect, listen up. In a while, this old woman will personally deal with this brat. No one else can interfere. I want to see what kind of ability this brat has. Li Feng was so angry that she laughed. Her figure flashed, and she rushed towards Guo Pai. At such an old age, you're only at the early fasting stage. You've really wasted your life. Guo Pai loudly said. He knew that he was no match for this old woman. If he wanted to buy time, he had to provoke her and then find a flaw to buy time. You're courting death. Li Feng roared. A long whip appeared in her hand, and she directly lashed out at Guo Pai. Guo Pai fiercely jumped up. The moment his feet touched the ground, he jumped up again. Wudong's lost technique, Cloud Ladder. Unfortunately, he was only in the Xiantian realm. If he could enter the enlightening stage, then this old woman would not be able to hurt him. The whip in Li Feng's hand seemed to have grown eyes. No matter how Guo Pai's figure swayed, the whip still landed on his body. Smelly brat, this feels good, right? Li Feng looked at Guo Pai, who had dodged the whip, and said with a smile. A Xiantian expert dared to be disrespectful to a fasting stage expert. This was simply courting death. Brat, hand over all the dawn on you, and I'll spare your life today. Smelly old woman, I'll give you the dawn so that you can eat them comfortably. Do you want to continue torturing this young master? The older you get, the more shameless you become. Guo Pai touched the bloodstain on his arm and scolded with a smile. You're courting death. Since you're not willing to hand them over, I'll kill you first and then slowly search your body. With that, Li Feng swung the whip in her hand. This time, Guo Pai could not dodge, and the whip directly wrapped around his body. Yin-yang sky mysterious silk. This old woman's whip is not ordinary. I'm finished. Guo Pai helplessly shook his head. If he still had the flying sword, he would have a way to break this whip. But now, he had no way to deal with this whip. Brat, hand over the dawn, and I'll leave your corpse intact. Li Feng stared at Guo Pai and said loudly. A soft sword had already appeared in her hand. Old woman, I'm afraid I'll die faster if I hand it over to you. Just use whatever moves you have. Guo Pai clenched his teeth and roared. As long as this old woman dared to come within 3 meters of him, although he couldn't kill her, he would definitely make her lose a layer of skin, even if she didn't die. It wasn't that easy to kill a banished immortal. Brat, you refuse a toast, only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Go to hell. With that, Li Feng flew toward Guo Pai. Guo Pai closed his eyes. Just when he was about to bite his tongue and use his blood essence secret technique, a powerful aura shrouded his body. It directly made Guo Pai break through the Xiantian realm and enter the enlightening realm. It only stopped when he reached the middle stage of the enlightening realm. How is this possible? Li Feng murmured. She naturally felt that Guo Pai's aura soared and quickly withdrew the soft sword. Haha, the gates to the underworld are finally closed. Thank you for your trouble, immortals. Guo Pai directly shook off Li Feng's whip and bowed deeply toward the gates of the underworld. The 9 ghost soldiers and the gates of the underworld disappeared together. Merit, if I knew there would be such great benefits, I would have come a long time ago. Hall Master, are you all right? PMO looked at the excited Guo Pai, whose clothes had been torn into shreds by the whip, and asked with a trace of heartache. I almost died. Your grandfather is more troublesome than I thought. I'll leave the rest to you guys. I'm going to rest. Guo Pai said with a laugh. Old Master the Four Symbols sect is preparing to exterminate the Ghost Doctor sect. How you want to deal with it is up to you. In any case, if someone wants to exterminate my entire sect, I'll F***CK them up. I can't tolerate this kind of thing. Great-grandfather, it's them. It's them. They killed the 18 people we set up, and only I'm left. You have to take revenge for Brother Feng. Xiao Yu said loudly with red eyes. Old Madam what are you looking at? Don't think that just because your complexion is better, your hidden illness will be fine. If you want to make a move, then hurry up. Don't waste time. Li Feng shouted loudly. Chapter 238. Li Feng, I'm very sorry for what happened back then, but your Four Symbols sect has gone a bit overboard these past few years, He Yuanjia said softly. He Yuanjia said softly as he pulled Guo Pao up from the ground. Little rascal, I can't thank you enough. Let's have a good chat after we've settled the grudge between the Ghost Doctor sect and the Four Symbols sect. You settle your grudges, I'll go rest first. After he finished speaking, Guo Pao leapt up and landed on the Ghost Doctor sect's observatory. His middle stage enlightened realm cultivation allowed him to faintly see the situation 30 miles away. He couldn't help but nod his head. Old Qin had really put in a lot of effort today. Once the matter with the Ghost Doctor sect was settled, Guo Pao decided to give the old man some benefits. The Ghost Doctor sect had 63 people, including He Yuanjia, while the Four Symbols sect had nearly 100 people. However, no matter how one looked at the current situation, the Ghost Doctor sect's momentum was stronger. The 13 peak Xiantian experts had all entered the enlightened realm. Of the original 9 people, although none of them had broken through the enlightened realm and entered the fasting realm, their strength had increased by a level. He Yuanjia, this time, not a single person from your Ghost Doctor sect can escape. Li Feng said loudly. Although she felt the change in He Yuanjia's aura, she didn't believe that the 90 people from the Four Symbols sect couldn't win against the 60 people from the Ghost Doctor sect. Li Feng, I don't want to hurt you today. You can leave. I'll pay a visit to the Four Symbols sect later, He Yuanjia said softly. He Yuanjia said softly. 60 years ago, Li Feng and He Yuanjia were a couple, but they separated because of their personalities. Li Feng later married an elder of the Four Symbols sect and had a child. However, her child was naughty and mischievous. One day, he broke into the Ghost Doctor sect's forbidden area and was heavily injured by He Yuanjia. Later, because the injury was too serious, he couldn't be saved. Therefore, Li Feng hated He Yuanjia. After all these years, He Yuanjia also felt guilty towards Li Feng. Therefore, he tolerated the Four Symbols sect's provocation. However, he didn't expect that the Four Symbols sect would want to wipe out the Ghost Doctor sect. This matter was just like what Pai said, he couldn't tolerate it. He Yuanjia, there's no need to pretend to be merciful. It's not certain who will win or lose. Watch this, Li Feng said as she stabbed her soft sword towards He Yuanjia. All Ghost Doctor sect disciples, today, kill them all, He Yuanjia said gloomily. He Yuanjia said with a gloomy face. Li Feng's sword was already in front of his eyes. He Yuanjia stretched out his right hand and grabbed the flexible sword. Then he pulled Li Feng to his side and hit Li Feng's shoulder with his palm. Hearing He Yuanjia's words, the 62 pre-celestial masters of the Ghost Doctor sect immediately flared up. After enduring for so many years, they could finally vent their frustrations. Putting aside whether or not they could defeat the Four Symbols sect, The opportunity to fight this time had caused their blood, which had been dormant for several years, to boil once more. Kill! A peak enlightened realm master of the ghost, Dr. Sect roared. He directly faced two enlightened realm masters of the Four Symbols sect. His many years of patience could finally be unleashed. His body's hidden illness had been dealt with. If the knot in his heart could be untied, the fasting period would no longer be a dream for him. Kill! For our dead brothers, kill the trash of the Four Symbols sect. The people of the Ghost Doctor sect roared loudly. They were basically fighting 1 against 2, but they were not at a disadvantage at all. The disciples of the Four Symbols sect were completely dumbfounded. Were these people still the disciples of the Ghost Doctor sect that they had bullied at the back of the mountain? They were wolves, leopards, and tigers. They were wuxia masters who could beat them until they couldn't fight back. Li Feng endured the pain as she watched the arrogant wuxia masters of the Four Symbols sect being defeated by the Ghost Doctor sect. At this time, she knew that no matter how many people returned to the Four Symbols sect, the Four Symbols sect was finished. Big brother, if you still don't come, the Four Symbols sect will really be finished. Li Feng helplessly roared into the distance. Yin Tianjin suddenly jumped up. He had already recovered 70% of his strength. He knew that the Four Symbols sect was in trouble this time. For the most stubbornly Feng to shout like this, he knew that he had made a stupid decision. Xiaoran and Xiu Feng of the White Tiger sect jumped up at the same time. However, they didn't get far before they were stopped by Qin Fengyu, who had also recovered 70 to 80% of his strength. Qin Fengyu, are you going to interfere in today's matter until the end? Once today's matter is settled, our Four Symbols sect will definitely go to Mount Buzhou to visit you two heroes. Xiaoran gritted his teeth and said. Qin Fengyu chuckled, come if you want. However, let's talk about it after your Four Symbols sect survives today. As he spoke, Qin Fengyu's figure flickered. 2 fasting experts were nothing to a mid-stage fasting expert like him. Fourth sister, what happened? Yin Tianjin asked softly as he passed through the fighting crowd and saw Li Feng on the ground. She glared fiercely at He Yuanjia. Big brother, He Yuanjia's current strength is at least at the mid-stage fasting realm. All the wuxia of the Ghost Doctor sect are different from the information we received. The Four Symbols sect is finished. Li Feng shook her head and said, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Yin Tianjin roared and pounced towards He Yuanjia. He Yuanjia's eyes flashed with killing intent. Just as Yin Tianjin was about to hit He Yuanjia's figure flashed and appeared behind Yin Tianjin. He fiercely punched towards Yin Tianjin's head. No, not far away. Li Feng let out a heart-wrenching roar. One move, just one move, and Yin Tianjin's head was smashed into pieces by He Yuanjia's punch. Father! Among the fighting crowd, Yin Zue let out a roar. Then, he was punched in the chest by a Ghost Doctor sect disciple. Yin Tianjin fell straight to the ground and couldn't be more dead. 15 minutes later, the 90 or so disciples of the Four Symbols sect were completely annihilated, except for a few who were seriously injured and had no strength to fight back. Not a single one of them survived. They all died under the Ghost Doctor sect's vengeful fist. Li Feng, let's go. I won't kill you. You only know that I seriously injured your precious son. Do you know that my twin grandsons were killed by your son? He Yuanjia said with red eyes. A few Ghost Doctor sect disciples who knew the inside story helplessly shook their heads. I don't believe it, Li Feng roared loudly and jumped down from the cliff of the Ghost Doctor sect. Xiaoran and Xiu Feng were captured by He Yuanjia and Qin Fengyu. The two of them had a backbone and directly shattered all the meridians in their bodies. The grudge between the Ghost Doctor sect and the Four Symbols sect was over. Father, this time, a total of 23 Ghost Doctor sect disciples were killed. 7 of the Four Symbols sect disciples were seriously injured. Even if they were saved, their injuries wouldn't allow them to break through to the Hotian realm. Himo's father said softly, bury the 23 Ghost Doctor sect disciples and the dead Four Symbols sect disciples in the back mountain. As for the 7 Four Symbols sect disciples who didn't die, save them if you can. Inyang Mountain will be sealed for 10 years. All the Ghost Doctor sect disciples are not allowed to leave Inyang Mountain, except for Hmo. They're not allowed to go to the Four Symbols sect to seek revenge. From now on, the grudge between the Ghost Doctor sect and the Four Symbols sect is over. Ungs said loudly. Little Bad, come down. Our business is done. Let's talk about our business. Ungs looked at Guo Piao on the observatory platform, who was watching everything below the platform with his hands on his cheeks. He found it hard to imagine that the young man in front of him could be so calm in such a fierce battle, as if he was watching a show. This kid was definitely talented. Old man, the grudge is over? Can the grudges really be settled? Guopai narrowed his eyes and waved his hand. The Seven Four Symbols sect disciples no longer had any aura. Chapter 239. Little Bad, you're too murderous. Ungs shook his head as he looked at the 7 lifeless disciples of the Four Symbols sect. Old man, at first, I thought you were a good leader. Now I take back my words. The Ghost Doctor sect was not destroyed by the Four Symbols sect all these years. Guopai shook his head as he looked at Ungs. Back then, Guopao was also the head of sect. Back then, it was much more chaotic than it was now. Fighting for sex, fighting for resources, which time wasn't a life and death battle. Not to mention compassion. Sometimes, even if you didn't take the initiative to kill others, you would still die. How could you do something like releasing a tiger back into the mountains? Ahem, Little Bad, please come in. Ungs coughed a few times. Guopai did not stand on ceremony and walked straight into the hall. Ungs gave a few people around him a look and followed Guopai in. Yuan Shan called out to the few juniors. A moment later, all the corpses of the Four Symbols sect disappeared from the back of the mountain. Little Bad, this time, not only did you help us solve the hidden illness in our bodies, you also saved our entire Ghost Doctor sect. How do you think we should thank you? Ungs said with a smile. I only fulfilled my promise to Hmo. There's no need to thank me. Guopai said with a smile. However, the matter of the Ghost Doctor sect has not been resolved yet. It will take some time for your hidden illness to fully recover. To be able to reach this state, we are already very satisfied. Ungs said softly and could not help but clench his fists. In a moment, I will give you some prescriptions. The hidden illness that has accumulated over the years cannot be resolved quickly. However, you should be able to recover in 3 to 5 years. As for your Ghost Doctor sect's Ghost Doctor 13 needles, I think you should pay more attention to it. Guopai said with a smile. Little Bad, what do you mean by that? Ungs asked Guopai. It's not a secret that the Hellgate 13 is against me. I know more or less the same as you. The old man should also know that if the Hellgate 13 needles is used too much, your body will have all kinds of discomfort, Guopai said with a smile. Little Bad, you know about the ghastly 13 needles? Do you know the secret of the ghastly 13 needles? Ungs stood up and asked excitedly. The Ghost Doctor sect has been passed down for thousands of years. Back then, Zhang Yizhen created the Ghost Doctor acupuncture technique. The Ghost Doctor's 13 needles should have been the yin and yang needles. Until now, only the yin needles of the Ghost Doctor's 13 needles have been passed down. The yang needles have been lost. This can only be blamed on Zhang Yizhen's rule that the yang needles could only be passed down to males and not females. By the 8th generation of the Ghost Doctor sect, the yang needles were completely lost. Guopai said softly, Little Bad, who are you? We haven't heard of the Tiandao sect you mentioned, but I didn't expect you to know so much about our Ghost Doctor sect. Do you know about the Ghost Doctor's 13 needles? Ungs asked excitedly. I'm sorry to disappoint the old man. I've only read about the Ghost Doctor's 13 needles in the ancient books of the sect. Back then, my master and Zhang Yizhen had a good relationship. I know a little about the 13 needles, but I've only heard about the yang needles. Guopai said with a smile. He couldn't say that he and Zhang Yizhen were best friends. They exchanged medical skills and won the Ghost Doctor sect's 13 needles. At that time, Zhang Yizhen was shameless and didn't tell him about the 13 yang needles. So what was recorded in the ancient books is true. Ungs sighed softly and said, If that's the case, I'm afraid the Ghost Doctor sect will have to find another way out in the future. Old man, I open a medical center in Wu Castle. Presumably, the old man knows about it. Next, I'm going to open a medical center in the Imperial capital. If the old man agrees, you can let the disciples of the Ghost Doctor sect go to my medical center. It's even better if you can come. We can study the Ghost Doctor sect's 13 needles together. Maybe we can study the 13 yang needles. Guo Pai said with a smile. Although Zhang Yizhen didn't tell him about the 13 yang needles, after going to the Heavenly Court, he found some clues about acupuncture and moxibustion. Well, I'll arrange it. The disciples of the Ghost Doctor sect will take turns to go to your medical center to learn medical skills. But there's an important thing right now. Before you go back, I'm going to hold your wedding with Xiao and Mo in the Yin-Yang Mountain. Then I'll be relieved. Ha. Yungs said with a laugh. Mo's face was red, and the other elders of the Ghost Doctor sect nodded and laughed. I lost my parents when I was young, but my grandparents are still here. 3 days later, I'll let people bring my grandparents here. But there's something I want to tell the old man. Guo Pai said with a smile. Our Ghost Doctor sect is a hidden sect in Huaxia. Of course, I'm also one. I like many women, and I've already promised to marry them. I'll treat them seriously. Old man, you know what I mean. Haha, I thought it was something big. Isn't it just marrying a few more wives? Little bad, you're right. Hidden sects don't care about the opinions of the world. As long as you have the ability, you can do whatever you want. Yungs said with a laugh. Mo's face was even redder. Xiao Mo, do you agree or not? If you don't agree, Grandpa will respect your decision. Yungs said with a smile. I'll listen to Grandpa's arrangement. Mo said with a red face and quickly ran out. Several people laughed again. Old man, we're going to be a family from now on. Guo Pai said with a smile. Yungs gently nodded, and at this time, Huanshan walked in from outside. Boy, it's not impossible to marry my daughter, but the betrothal gift can't be lacking. Huanshan, only have one precious daughter. If you dare to treat her badly, I'll definitely teach you a lesson. Huanshan said loudly. The betrothal gift naturally won't be lacking, but I can't take out ordinary things. I don't have many things on me right now. Guo Pai said with a smile and took out a jade bottle. There are 18 pills in here. Father-in-law, please accept them first. Just as Huanshan was about to reach out and take the jade bottle, Yungs slapped Huanshan's head. Stinking brat, you know how to put on airs. Your father, I'm here. It's not your turn to call me your father. Yungs said loudly and reached out to take the jade bottle. He looked at Guo Pai with a smile and said, Little bad, what's the use of these pills? It's not very useful. It can only help peak Xiantian experts enter the enlightening stage. If an enlightening stage expert takes it, it can stabilize their realm and make it easier for them to enter the fasting stage. Guo Pai said with a smile. This is called not very useful. Little bad. If the other Wuxian know about this pill, they'll fight over it. Yungs said loudly and carefully put the pills into his inner pocket. Father, you're going too far. This is my married daughter. You should at least give me half of these pills. You're going too far. Huanshan mustered up his courage and said softly, Your married daughter? Without me, there wouldn't be you. Without you, where would your daughter come from? You want to bargain with me? Hurry up and scram. Take some people to the Four Symbols sect and see if there's any Four Symbols jade plate like Little Bad said. Chapter 240. Huanshan walked out of the meeting hall with a trace of depression. However, when he thought about how he was Guo Pai's father-in-law and how he still had a long way to go, his son-in-law would definitely not treat him badly. Huanshan couldn't help but laugh, causing the people around him to stare with wide eyes. How could a married daughter be so happy? Guo Pai and Yungs discussed some matters related to Chinese medicine in the meeting hall, causing Yungs to be completely convinced by this grandson-in-law of his. Some of Guo Pai's ideas were far beyond Yungs' understanding. Old man, the Ghost Doctor sect should have stored a lot of medicinal herbs over the years. When will you take me to see them? If they're left on the mountain, they won't rot. Why don't you let me take them down the mountain to benefit the world? It's also a good deed for the Ghost Doctor sect. Guo Pai said with a smile. You have to follow Mo and call me grandfather. He Yuinjia said with a smile. Let's go. I'll take you to the Ghost Doctor Sek's pharmacy today. After saying that, Guopai followed behind Yuinjia and a few elders of the Ghost Doctor sect to the Ghost Doctor Sek's forbidden area, the Ghost Doctor Sek's pharmacy. Third brother, the sect master is taking Guopai to the pharmacy. Do we need to inform the elders? An elder said softly. Second brother, why can't your brain turn around? Little Bad helped us deal with our injuries. Can't he go to our pharmacy to get some medicine? If it were up to me, giving Little Bad everything in the pharmacy wouldn't be excessive. Another elder said loudly. Old Third hurriedly nodded his head. That's right. Even with all the medicines in the medicine room, they still wouldn't be able to deal with the Ghost Doctor Sek's negative karma all these years. This Guruo is a very good person, a very good person. Hearing their words, the corners of Guo Pao's mouth curled into a smile. This time, he had helped the Ghost Doctor sect. If he could return to the heavenly court, Zhang Yijin would have to thank him properly. Evil Doctor True Monarch, haha, you owe me this favor. Achoo! In the heavenly court, in a small palace filled with the fragrance of medicine, an alchemist with half black and half white hair suddenly sneezed. The pill cauldron in front of him suddenly exploded. Not only were the pill embryos in the pill cauldron destroyed, the explosion also made the alchemist look very miserable. Lower realm, it's the matter of the lower realm again. Damn it, if I had known about so many things, I wouldn't have ascended to the heaven realm. I might as well go to the human world with mind, reading Perfected Cultivator. The apothecary in front of him was none other than the Zhang Yijin mentioned by Guopai, the evil doctor perfected lord of the heavenly court. However, Guopai was unaware of all this. He followed Yuinjia to a secluded place in the Yin-Yang Mountain. Along the way, there were many array formations of various sizes. Guopai could not help but think of his old friend, Zhang Yijin. That old fellow had spent a lot of elixir pills in search of array formations back then. The Yin-Yang Chinquan lock is really a big deal. After about 10 minutes, Guopai and Yuinjia finally arrived in front of a door. Guopai's gaze fell directly on the lock of the door, and he sighed softly. Little Bad, do you know this lock? Guopai had shocked Yuinjia enough. He became more and more interested in the Tiandao sect that Guopai mentioned. This lock has some knack. I didn't expect to see it, haha. Guopai laughed. Yuinjia did not say much. A jade token appeared in his hand, and he directly inserted it into the center of the lock. The door slowly opened. Old man, you have to thank me this time. Your jade token key can only be used once at most. If it wasn't for me, I'm afraid you won't be able to enter this medicine room again. Guopai said with a smile. What? You said this jade token can only be used once? How? How is this possible? Yuinjia's eyes widened. This jade token had been passed down in the Ghost Doctor sect for nearly 1,000 years. He had also used this jade token more than 10 times. How could it be like Guopai said, that it could only be used once more? Old man, let me tell you this. Your jade token key is not original. You should thank the previous seniors of the Ghost Doctor sect. They did not use it indiscriminately. Otherwise, it would be impossible for it to be used in your hands. Guopai said with a smile, the lock is a real lock and the key is a fake. Every time it is used, the spirit chi on the key will disappear a little. If you don't believe me, we can close the door and you can try again. Ha! Little Bad, let's go in first. We can talk about this key later. Yuinjia said helplessly. He thought that the lock in front of him would be able to suppress Guopai. He did not expect that the other party knew more than he did. Zhang Yijin's stock was almost ruined by your Ghost Doctor sect. Guopai walked into the medicine room and looked around. He could not help but secretly say in his heart, Little Bad, take whatever medicinal herbs you like. We could take out 300 to 500 genes. Yuinjia said generously. Guopai did not speak and began to walk around the medicine room step by step. After about 7 to 8 minutes, his eyes lit up. Old friend, I say, it is impossible for your good things to be ruined by the later generations. Ha! Guopai took out 9 pieces of high-grade jade cores and placed them in 9 inconspicuous positions. Yuinjia's eyes widened. What was this kid going to do? 9 gates, 4 mysterious gate, sealing array. Fortunately, I followed you when you borrowed the array formation. Otherwise, I would not have been able to find this hidden space. Guopai said softly. The 9 pieces of jade cores turned into powder at the same time. Guopai smiled slightly. Yuanjia's eyes widened. A cupboard-like thing appeared in the void, and a very comfortable medicinal fragrance came out. Why is there a medicine cabinet here? Yuanjia asked in surprise. This kid was lucky to have seen a concealment array formation in the ancient books of the sect. I just happened to find it in this medicine room. Huh? Guopai said with a smile. Yuanjia looked at Guopai as if he was looking at a monster. Damn, who are you trying to fool? Luck, coincidence, everything good happens to you. 9 heart origin ginseng, 7 color chilling grass. Haha, with these 2 things, there is hope for my immortal power to recover. Guopai thought in his heart excitedly. Old man, I will be taking these herbs. In the future, the matters of the Ghost Doctor sect will be my matters. Within half a year, I will help everyone in the Ghost Doctor sect to cure the hidden diseases in your body. To be honest, these things will be a waste for you. Leaving them with me is the best choice. Guopai said. The herbs on the medicine cabinet disappeared bit by bit. This made Yuanjia's eyes widen again. The herbs on the medicine cabinet were not a lot, but they were not small either. They weighed at least 1,000 pounds. This kid actually took them all away. Where did he put them? After about 10 minutes, when the huge medicine cabinet disappeared in front of Yuanjia could not bear it anymore. Kid, where did you put the herbs and the medicine cabinet? Yuanjia asked loudly. Also, since you took away the medicine cabinet, why did you take the herbs alone like magic? These herbs have been in the medicine cabinet for thousands of years. Of course, they have to be well preserved. As for the medicine cabinet, I saw that the material was good. My clinic was lacking this, so I took it with me. As for where I put it, old man, you don't have to worry about it. Guopai said with a smile. Yuanjia did not ask anymore, who did not have their own little secrets. However, Guopai's next move made his heart ache again. The rare herbs in the medicine room were all swept away by Guopai like the autumn wind sweeping away the fallen leaves. Little bad, leave some for us. Yuanjia could not help but say, Old man, I will give you pills when the time comes. These herbs are really a waste to leave them with you. Guopai said in an infuriating manner. Chapter 241. Guopai unceremoniously swept away all the herbs he could use in the medicine room. Although he had the old lord's gourd on him, there were many things in it that could not be used in this world. These herbs were more practical. Now, he hoped to find the medicine cauldron that Zhang Yijin did not take with him when he ascended, but the result was disappointing. Old man, take this jade stone. In the future, when you come to this medicine room, you can use this jade stone. Guopai smiled as he handed Yuanjia a stone that was the same size as the one he had. Yuanjia played with it for a while and felt that the one Guopai gave him was indeed better than the one he had before. Old man, don't blame this little one for speaking so harshly. You guys have wasted a good piece of land. Guopai said with a smile, although there are many herbs on Yinyang Mountain, and many of them have been around for a long time. When I went up the mountain, I saw that you guys made some markings, but have you not thought of growing those herbs in this medicine room? If they can grow in this medicine room for a few years, their quality will increase by several times. This medicine room can be used like this? Yuanjia asked with a trace of doubt. The medicine room passed down by the Ghost Doctor sect for 1,000 years. No one said that it can be used like this. Wait a few days and you'll know. Later, I'll tell you where to grow what according to the 5 elements. Guopai said with a smile. Let's go, we should go out. Otherwise, the people outside will be waiting anxiously. Yuanjia could not help but look at the medicine room again and exclaimed in his heart, This brat is really sneaky. He did not leave anything of the same quality for me. Sect Master, you don't look too good. Just as they walked out of the medicine room, several old men looked at Yuanjia, who was following behind Guopai, and asked with a trace of concern. Cough, cough, it's nothing. It's a bit suffocating inside. Yuanjia said with a few light coughs, and quickly walked towards the Ghost Doctor's sect's encampment. I've made you wait for a long time. 3 months from now, I will send a batch of medicinal pills to the ghost doctor sect. At that time, the internal injuries on your bodies will be more or less healed. This time, I took a lot of things from the medicine storage room. However, I will use the things I took from the ghost doctor sect. Everyone can rest assured, Guopai said with a smile, causing the old men to smile like flowers. Little bad, your words are strange. Since I let you enter the medicine room, then take whatever you want. If it's not enough, then go next time. But I don't think you took anything, He Lao San said with a smile. Haha, this kid has taken a lot of things. You will know in the future. In 2 days, this kid will be getting married. You must eat and drink well, Guopai said with a smile. The old men smiled and promised that they would be there on that day. However, after thinking about it, the wedding was being held in the ghost doctor sect. 3 days passed by very quickly. In the beginning, some of the younger members of the ghost doctor sect were still somewhat hostile towards Guopao. However, in these 3 days, Guopao had told them some things and displayed his medical skills in the ghost doctor sect. This caused the ghost doctor sect to be thoroughly convinced. The prescription you wrote is correct. However, I think if you can add in some 1,000 gold seeds and banyan tree roots, wouldn't the medicinal effect be better? Think about it, Guopai said to a middle-aged man from the ghost doctor sect with a smile. 1,000 gold seeds and banyan tree roots. The middle-aged man muttered. In his heart, he thought about all the medicinal herbs again. His eyes lit up. Little bad, good, really good. I'm convinced. This time I'm convinced. Fourth brother, there was no problem with your acupuncture points. There was also no problem with the needles. However, there was a problem with the needles in your hands. Guopai said with a smile. Try using my set of silver needles. As for the strength, increase it by another level. However, don't use them on fifth brother's body. You could try using them on yourself. The young man in front of him gently nodded. When the last silver needle pierced his arm, He Yang's eyes widened. Comfortable, this feeling was really comfortable. Fourth brother, pull out the needles. I'll try. Let me try. The fifth brother, He Shu, loudly said, I won't pursue the matter of you giving me needles. Let me try. Fourth brother, fifth brother, I still have a few sets of silver needles. You can give them to your brothers. Guopai said with a smile. He Yang and He Shu happily took the silver needles and went to the place where the other cousins often gathered. After a while, more than a dozen young men found Guopai. Guopai was in a good mood. He directly told everyone that the next time they came to the ghost doctor's sect, everyone would have a set of silver needles. Little bad, tomorrow your grandfather and grandmother will come. We've already prepared a place for you to stay. You can go and see if there's anything missing. He Yuanjie said with a smile to Guopai during dinner. I've already looked at it at noon. Grandfather has troubled himself. Guopai said with a smile, but grandfather still needs to prepare a few rooms. I reckon that a few people from Bugyaku will come to join in the fun. My first wife will also come. Stinking brat. So my precious granddaughter is really a little wife. He Yuanjie said with a smile. You can rest assured that I'll prepare a room for you. Today you should rest early and prepare for the big wedding tomorrow. Guopai looked at the full moon in the sky. I can't waste such a day. However, Guopai didn't say much. After walking out of the restaurant, he jumped and steadily landed on the observatory. Freak, pervert. He Yuanjie looked at Guopai's figure and said softly. However, he had a higher opinion of this brat in front of him. Comfortable. The sun rose and the moon disappeared. Guopai stretched and said softly. After the disappearance of the immortal energy, today was the first time that Guopai felt a faint feeling of immortal energy in his body. He couldn't help but feel excited. Big baddie, not bad. You managed to settle sister He-Mo in one trip. You still owe me a wedding in the capital, and you've created another one here. You're really something. Guopao suddenly heard a familiar voice. It was none other than you were. First wife, are you jealous? I called you here this time. If you don't agree, then this wedding won't be held. Guopai said with a smile. You reached out and pinched Guopai's waist. Big bad guy, you've already stayed in the ghost doctor's sect for so long. Are you already pregnant? My grandparents are already here. What's the use of me objecting? Hee, first wife, when we go to Wu Castle, let's hold a make-up wedding. Let's make it big. Guopai said with a smile. Wu Castle is too small. If you want to hold a make-up wedding for me, let's go back to the heavenly court. Yuer said with a smile. At this time, Guopai and his wife came over. The old man looked at his grandson with a smile. The old woman stepped forward and slapped Guopai's head. Brat, the wedding in the capital isn't over yet. You're messing around again. Yuer is magnanimous. If you dare to hurt Yuer, you'll suffer. Old Madam was scolded with a smile. Guopai looked at Yuer again. Good. She had made the old woman happy. Chapter 242. Guopai never thought that so many people would come to Wu Castle. To be more specific, not only Wu Castle, but also many people from the capital. Grandpa, bad brother, there's another helicopter. You should go take a look. We don't know the person. Since morning, the few juniors of the Ghost Doctor sect had been extremely busy. 4 of these military helicopters had already arrived. One must know that there were less than 10 of these helicopters in the entire Xiao military region. Old master, I'll go take a look, Guopai said with a smile. Yuanjie did not move, but Yuanshan followed. Little bad, the Dragon King couldn't come, so he sent a few of us. You're quite fast. Fian didn't come this time, but the Dragon King said that once the wedding in the capital is settled, he must come to Mount Baolong to settle the wedding between you and Fian, Gu Yun said with a smile. 8 people came down from the helicopter. Among the 8 dragons of Mount Baolong, other than the Black Dragon Zhang Ao and the Crimson Dragon Xiaofian, the other 6 dragons were all present. There was also Kong Fei, who had reached the Enlightened Realm with the help of Guopai, and the Azure Dragon Soldier, Xing Kuang, who had recently reached the Enlightened Realm. Among the 8 people, the weakest was already an expert in the early stage of the Enlightened Realm. This made Yuanshan widen his eyes. Mount Baolong? Could it be that these people were from the most secretive organization in Huaxia, the Baolong Group? Brother Gu, how's the matter with the Gu family in the capital? Guopai asked with a smile. It's too sudden. Let's go in first. After we're done here, I'll go to the Baolong Group to propose marriage after the wedding in the capital. But I don't think I told you about my wedding. How did you know? Honey, I'm the one who told the Dragon King. You're getting married at the Ghost Doctor sect. If we don't send some people, we'll lose face. Don't you think so? Yuer said with a smile. Xing Tian and the others nodded with a smile. They had first gone to Wu Castle from the imperial capital and then saw Yuer. At that time, they were stunned by Yuer's strength and beauty. They sighed inwardly. This Guopai was too powerful. He left such a beautiful woman at home and still went around fooling around. What was even more amazing was that this first wife of his seemed to have nothing to do with helping him find other women. Ahem, you're really my good wife. Let's all go in first. Guopai coughed a few times and looked at his father-in-law. He was completely dumbfounded. His son-in-law was really something. Kong Fei, I'll find someone to compare notes with you in a while. Don't go too far, huh? Guopai pulled Kong Fei and said with a smile. He wanted Kong Fei to compare notes with Xue Daju. Think about it. If 2 people with the bloodline of the great magi were to compare notes with each other, the feeling would be like watching Wu Gang fight Kong Xian in the heavenly court. It would definitely be awesome. Kong Fei smiled foolishly and then nodded. His gaze fell on Xue Daju, who was not far away. From the moment he arrived at the Ghost Doctor sect, nothing attracted him. He could feel an extremely strong fighting power flowing in his blood. The cause of all this was this big guy not far away. Of course, Xue Daju felt the same as Kong Fei. Guopai looked at the expressions of the 2 and laughed. Yuta rolled her eyes at Guopai. 2 people with the blood essence of the great magi made her feel extremely uncomfortable. Then the big green jeep that had exploded 911's chrysanthemum stopped outside the Ghost Doctor sect. 3 people got out of the car. They were Li Yao, Jia Yuan, and Wang Sheng. 4th brother, you're awesome, really awesome. Wu Castle has the 4 evils and the 5 poisons. It's really not a joke. Jia Yuan said with a smile. 4th brother, you're so fast. The wedding in the capital hasn't been held yet, and you've got another one on the Yinyang Mountain. Let's see what he looks like. Wang Sheng said with a smile. Hiamo, we're from Bugyaku. You met him before. Guopai said with a smile. Let's go in and talk. I need some waiters. You're just in time. Ha! The three people heard Guopai's words and opened their eyes wide. He was really a brother. Good things never came to him. Waiters? If people in Wu Castle knew that these three people were waiters at someone else's wedding, no one would believe it. You don't agree? Then let's go in and find a place to sit. I'll ask a few brothers from the Violent Dragon group to help. You actually don't want to do such a good job. Sigh, it looks like I'll have to save some of the pills I just refined. Guopai said with a smile. Fourth brother, you're really something. You're threatening your three brothers. Li Yao said with a smile. Hee, my good fourth brother, no one can snatch your position as a waiter from us. If anyone tries to snatch it from us, we will fight them. Let's go in and prepare first. Saying this, Li Yao pulled Jia Yuan and Wang Sheng and ran inside. Then, Niu Meng, Mo Beifong, Han Dezhu, Wei Tai, Lu Heishan, and a few people from the 531 Battalion drove a few military off-road vehicles and stopped outside the Ghost Doctor sect. Brother, they came empty-handed, but I didn't come empty-handed. Mo Beifong pulled Guopai to the side and said softly, I know you're a disciple of a hidden sect. Take a look at this item. I went to Europe a few days ago and bought it at an auction. With that, Mo Beifong took out an exquisite black alchemy furnace. Mo Beifong naturally didn't know that this was an alchemy furnace. At the auction, it was said to be a piece of art from Huaxia that was found by an explorer on an overseas island. Mo Beifong felt that it was good and bought it. The moment Guopai's eyes fell on the alchemy furnace, his whole body couldn't help but tremble. He had searched for so long, but he hadn't seen a similar alchemy furnace in the Laojuan's gourd. He got one from a Dragon King. Although the quality was okay, it was far from meeting his needs. However, he recognized the alchemy furnace in front of him at a glance. 9 Jade King Cauldrons. This is the 9 Jade King Cauldrons. Black, of course it's black. This is a black jade that is hard to find even in the Heaven Realm. This thing was something that Zhang Sanfeng had in the past. I didn't expect that Zhang Sanfeng didn't bring it to the Heaven Realm. No wonder the alchemy furnace that I saw Zhang Sanfeng using in the Heaven Realm wasn't this one. Guopai secretly said in his heart, thinking back to the time when Zhang Sanfeng went down to the lower realm to refine pills. At that time, the mind-reading sage Chun Qingyuan had already ascended to the Heaven Realm. From time to time, he would still be attracted by the pills of the great Ming Immortal. This showed Zhang Sanfeng's strength back then. Of course, the mind-reading sage Chun Qingyuan also remembered this 9 Jade King Cauldrons in his heart. This thing was obtained by Zhang Sanfeng in an ancient relic. It was something that belonged to an ancient witch, but he didn't know who made it. Mo Lao Gu took care of it. I like this thing very much, so I'll accept it. Guopai didn't say much and snatched the alchemy furnace into his bag. Mo Beifong smiled and said, It's good that you like it. Next time when I go abroad, I'll bring you along. There are many of these old things from Huaxia and foreign auctions. Guopai nodded lightly and secretly remembered it in his heart. That's right. The place of ascension would usually be some small island on the sea that was full of spiritual energy. If there were some good things that couldn't be brought to the Heaven Realm, they would naturally fall into the sea. There seemed to be more explorers abroad than in the country. Around 11 o'clock in the afternoon, a young man who looked like a Taoist rushed to the outside of the Ghost Doctor's door. He didn't go in, but only gave Guopai a wooden box. Then he bowed to Guopai and said that everything was ready, then turned and left. Guopai, Little Yu, I unintentionally heard of Little Yu's wedding. Everything is ready. If you have time, please come to Shu Mountain. Taoist Buer's signature was at the back. Guopai nodded lightly. Inside the wooden box was a simple and unadorned sword. Others couldn't tell what it was. Guopai became excited again. A good quality flying sword. Taoist Buer took care of it. Chapter 243. As more and more people arrived, the busiest person in the entire Ghost Doctor sect was not Guopao, but rather the Ghost Doctor sect chef. Originally, Yu and Jia had thought that 18 tables of dishes would be enough, but looking at the current situation, it would definitely not be enough without 80 to 100 tables. Yang, Shu, what are you guys doing here? Hurry up and scram. Go to where it's cooler. No, you guys can't stay here yet. Hurry up and change your clothes and go to the canteen to help. Are you guys going to attend the wedding banquet by sitting here? Shan was so busy that he was sweating profusely. Suddenly, he saw the He clan's younger generation sitting there talking and laughing. He suddenly became angry. Uncle, you can go do what you need to do. Don't worry about us. When it's time to eat, we'll serve ourselves. There's no need to trouble the other brothers. Hyang didn't understand what Shan meant and said with a smile. However, Shu and the others naturally understood what Shan meant and stood up. Brat, do you feel that you've improved a lot recently and want to compete with me? Shan said loudly and then slapped He Yang's head. At this time, Hyang suddenly realized what was going on and ran towards the cafeteria. The other people didn't even have time to laugh when Shan slapped He Yang's head again. This time, Guo Pao and He Mo held their wedding in the Ghost Doctor sect. It was the most lively event in the Ghost Doctor sect in the last 100 years. Shan was drunk for 3 days. If it wasn't for He Yuan Jie's ban on alcohol, who knows how drunk these people would be? Where would the alcohol come from? Of course, it wasn't Guo Pai's wine. It was the rich merchant Jia Yuan who ordered people to bring it to the Yinyang Mountain. Fourth brother, we're leaving. We can't watch you show off your love anymore. Sister-in-law said that when we have time, she'll take us to your sect to play. There are many beautiful women there, so don't talk nonsense. Jia Yuan said to Guo Pai in a drunken state. Guo Pai smiled and nodded. Go to my sect. As long as you can ascend to the heavenly realm, I'll definitely ask you to find you a little fairy. These few days, Guo Pai naturally didn't stay idle. He got so many ingredients from the Ghost Doctor sect's medicine room and a new furnace. The success rate of refining pills increased a lot. The pills he refined in 3 days were more than the pills he refined in a month. Of course, Guo Pai also bowed to He Mo. The yang poison in He Mo's body was completely cured. He Mo was now at the peak of Xiantian realm. Of course, Guo Pai also benefited a lot. Guo Pai's mysterious nine-yang body. Although it didn't recover his immortal qi, the yang poison in his body, He Mo, Guo. Bad guy, the guests have all left. When are we going back to Marshall City? He Mo asked softly while lying in Guo Pao's arms. Isn't it good now? I actually want to stay on Yinyang Mountain for the rest of my life and live a happy life. Guo Pai said with a smile. His hands started to wander around again. You say it so nicely. After provoking so many romantic deaths, do you still want to hide on Yinyang Mountain? You better behave and get up quickly. You saw it yesterday. He Mo said with a slightly red face. Guo Pai didn't care so much. After a while, the most primitive passion once again played out in one of the Ghost Doctor sect's courtyards. Shan, what are you thinking about? Hai looked at his brother and asked with a smile. Dahai, what do you think of my son-in-law? Shan squinted his eyes and said. Recently, he had been in the limelight. Guo Shua treated his father-in-law well. As long as there were good dawn, he wouldn't forget about Shan. Although Shan wasn't the sect master, the Ghost Doctor sect's people now had a trace of respect for this old man who wasn't very skilled in medicine. After all, he was Guo Shua's father-in-law. Shan, you have nothing to say about your son-in-law. Right now, I'm just envious and jealous. Who told your sister-in-law to give birth to sons for me? If I could have a girl like Mo and find a man like her to marry, then my ancestors would have accumulated a lot of good karma. Hai said with a trace of envy. After all this time, I hope Lil Mo can give birth to a boy or a girl for Guohuai. That brat is too fickle in love. If they can't have a child, I'm afraid little Mo will suffer in the future, Shan said softly. Hai's face was filled with black lines. Was this something a father would say? No, this old man was really crazy. Bad guy brother, it's getting late. Aren't you guys going to get up? Just as Guo Pai and He Mo's passion ended, Yu once again appeared in front of them with a smirk. He Mo covered her head shyly. Guo Pai, on the other hand, was very generous. If he wanted to look, he could look. Scoundrel, hurry up and pack your things. Yesterday, I divined that we have to go to Shu Mountain. Yu said to Guo Pao. Guo Pao was taken aback. He had not divined recently. However, if he went to Shushan now, it would take at least a month for him to go back and forth. He was afraid that he would delay his wedding with Lin Xuan. In any case, I've already told you. You should know what to do. Yu said with a smile. There aren't many things happening recently. If you wait until the third prince is born, you might not have the chance to go to Shu Mountain. Guopai was surprised. Looking at the serious Yu, he nodded gently. Although the third prince's descent had nothing to do with him, everything was related. Yu mentioned the third prince. It seemed that some things were related to him. This stinky girl, it seems that she really has feelings for that bastard mind-reading sage. My moon palace's Yu won't be able to come back. Chong. He looked at everything in the human world through the light, reflecting mirror. Thinking about it, she couldn't help but laugh. Not far away, Wu Gang and Yang Jian, who were fighting fiercely, stopped at the same time. What was wrong with his big sister? The two looked at each other. They had already left the Moon Palace and arrived outside the 33 heavens. They didn't know which powerful person had left behind a martial field in ancient times. Immortal. Chong. He looked at Wu Gang and Yang Jian outside the 33 heavens and said loudly. Of course, Guopai didn't know what was happening in the heaven realm. In the evening, Guopai finally appeared in front of everyone. First, he told He Yuanjia about his itinerary. He Yuanjia nodded thoughtfully. Then a group of people began to ask Guopai for a drink. Guopai didn't refuse anyone. No one could figure out how much wine this Guopai had in his stomach. Little bad, let's drink. You can't let our little Mo down. If you do something stupid, this old man won't forgive you. After saying that, He Yuanshan raised his head and drank the wine in his cup. Definitely won't forgive me. I want to see what my father-in-law can do. Guopai said with a smirk. The room burst into laughter again. Grandpa, we have to go back. You have to take care of yourself. If you come to Wu Castle, tell me in advance. He Mo whispered to He Yuanjia with a trace of reluctance. Little bad. We will definitely attend the wedding in the imperial capital. You also have to take care of yourself. Little Mo, you have contributed a lot to the success of the Ghost Doctor sect today. He Yuanjia said with a smile. But then he felt that something was wrong. Guopai's wedding in the imperial capital was his grandson-in-law taking a concubine. Why did he have to coax him? Thinking about it, He Yuanjia suddenly patted his head. Even without drinking, he still felt dizzy. Chapter 244. He Yuanjia sent Guopai and his group to the foot of the Yinyang Mountain. Guopai then handed 3 pills to He Yuanjia. The 2 old foxes looked at each other. Guopai got into the car, while Li Yao drove towards Wu Castle. He Yuanjia also rushed towards the Ghost Doctor sect. Now that the official business was done, the matter of the 4 Symbols sect should also be settled. A few days later, news came from the Yinyang Mountain that the entire 4 Symbols sect had been infected with a plague. No one was spared. The place where the 4 Symbols sect used to be was completely sealed off. The 4 Symbols sect is finished? How is that possible? The Ghost Doctor sect can't possibly take care of the 4 Symbols sect. Quickly go and find out what exactly happened to the 4 Symbols sect. News of the Jianghu spread throughout the Jianghu. In less than a month after the 4 Symbols sect was destroyed, almost all of the Wuxiu sects in Huaxian knew about it. Peng Tianhua of the Buzhou Mountain stroked his beard. Recently, there was a rumor that his elder brother, Qin Fengyu, had appeared at the Yinyang Mountain. He wondered if the matter of the 4 Symbols sect had anything to do with him. Of course, Guopai was completely unaware of the things that happened later. The few of them took turns to drive. Around the next morning, the car stopped in front of Bugyaku. The first person who came out to welcome them was not the students of Bugyaku, but the busy Taoist Tong Yuan, Guotong Yuan. Boss, you're finally back. If you didn't come back, I would have gone to find you. Guotong Yuan ran in front of Guopai and said loudly, You've been working hard recently. Haha, but you've also benefited a lot. Guopai smiled and said, You still have to stay in the town hall of Bugyaku for a while. You and I are going to Shushan tomorrow morning. I'm going too. I'm familiar with Shushan. Let me go with you. Boss, I'm begging you. Guotong Yuan said softly, Boss, there are some interesting places in Shushan. Others don't know about it. Even the old Taoists don't know about it. Only I know about it. It will definitely be useful for you. Junior brother Tong Yuan, I hope you're not lying to me. If you don't have what I want by then, Just you wait. Guopai said with a smile, agreeing to Taoist Tong Yuan's request. Kong Fei, you and Daju will find a place to stay. This time you two will go together. Master Qin, I will leave the matter of the medical center to you. Guopai said with a smile. Take this bottle of elixirs. Wu Xiu's path is to cultivate the mind and cultivate the body. However, if you keep relying on elixirs to improve your strength, even if you can ascend to the heaven realm in the end, you'll only be doing odd jobs in the heavenly court. I think Master Qin should understand which is more important. Guopai nodded gently and accepted the jade bottle with a trace of emotion. The injury from the day he dealt with the Four Symbols sect at Yinyang Mountain had been healed by Guopai. He had seen Guopai's ability thoroughly. He now admired this young man from the bottom of his heart. Himo, how can you marry Guopai? Lu Yaoshi pulled Himo to the side and whispered, Sure, why can't I? We are matchmakers. If he marries me officially, I will marry him. Himo said with a smile. On the way back, she knew that her good friends in Bugyaku would ask her this question, especially Lu Yaoshi. Guopai told Himo to answer Lu Yaoshi in this way. But Guopai will go to the imperial capital to marry sister Lin Shuang next month. Lu Yaoshi didn't know what to say. Looking at Himo's rosy cheeks, she couldn't help blushing too. Sure, you should more or less know about my family. You should also know about Big Bad Guy's sect. Wu Xiu's sect is different from ordinary people. Big Bad Guy is capable. He can marry as many women as he wants. If you want to marry him, as long as Big Bad Guy agrees, I have no objections. Yuer will also have no objections. Himo's face turned red as she spoke. Little Imo, what are you talking about? Lu Yaoshi ran away, as if he was escaping. Himo looked at her good friend and roughly guessed Lu Yaoshi's thoughts. She couldn't help but laugh. When Guopai returned to Bugyaku, Bugyaku became lively again. They all knew that Himo and Guopai were married. Several girls began to chat with Himo, Chanjiati, and the others also made fun of Guopai. Taoist Tong Yuan did a lot of work during the days when Guopai was away. There were only a few difficult cases left waiting for treatment outside the door. Brother Yao, I'll need your big jeep tomorrow. After lunch, Guopai smiled at Li Yao and said, You, second brother, third brother, wait for me to come back. I'll give you some good stuff. Fourth brother, let's take a plane. Drive to Shushan. You're really daring. Let's take a plane and directly land at the scenic airport. I have a friend there. I'll ask him to pick you up. Li Yao said with a smile. Plane? Forget it. I'm traumatized by that thing. It'll only take 3 days to drive. I'll take a day with Daju, Kong, and I, Guopai said with a smile. Thinking about what happened last time, this banished immortal was indeed traumatized. Haha, fourth brother, you're still thinking about what happened on the plane last time? That was an accident. No, I'll get you a military helicopter and go directly. All right, brother, you seem to be a division commander now. Haha, what a high position, Jia Yuan said with a smile. The others also laughed. However, no matter what they said, Guopai still asked Li Yao to leave his big jeep. The next morning, Guopai, Yuer, Taoist Tong Yuan, Shuedazhu, and Kong Fei set off for Shushan. Boss, you should give one of Daju and Kong Fei to me. I've been itching to take in a disciple recently, Taoist Tong Yuan said with a smile. Shuedazhu knew the background of this kid in front of him and did not say anything. However, Kong Fei was stunned by Guotong Yuan. This kid's tone was not small. Junior brother Tong Yuan, if you want to take in a disciple, go find one yourself. Don't even think about touching my people. Or you can fight with Yuer. If you can beat my first wife, I can consider letting one of them learn something from you. Guopai said with a smile. Taoist Tong Yuan looked at Yuer, who was sitting in the front row. Thinking about the strength that Yuer had shown these days, he shook his head fiercely. Forget it. Although he did not know why Yuer was in the lower realm, and he did not know what kind of person Yuer was in the heavenly court, it was better not to provoke such a person. Haha, first wife, what did you do to them? Why are they afraid of you? Guopai said with a smile. Brother bad guy, I didn't do anything to them. If you want to fight, I can accompany you. Yuer said with a smile. Guopai suddenly broke out in a cold sweat. Forget it. We are a good husband and wife. There is no domestic violence. The three of them looked at Guopai and laughed. Guopai drove for about 8 hours. The car got off the highway and drove into a small county. Then, it stopped in front of a well-decorated hotel. "Boss, I'm hungry. Should we go and eat first?" Guopai said with a smile. Daju and Kong Fei nodded quickly. Guopai touched his stomach. Yes, after driving for 8 hours, he was really hungry. The five of them did not bring any luggage. They parked the car and booked 4 rooms. Then, they walked together to a barbecue stall not far away. "Bad guy, let's eat somewhere else. This place is too disgusting." Ewer whispered before they sat down. "Disgusting? It's not disgusting. The food here smells good." Guopai said with a smile. "Not disgusting? Look at what they are barbecuing. Beef, lamb, chicken. If you want to eat, you can eat. I'll go somewhere else." Ewer whispered. "Sister Ewer, you are too fierce. This is barbecued beef, lamb, chicken wings, and chicken offal. It's called vertical. You can't say it horizontally." Shuedaju whispered. Ewer's face turned red. Guopai and Taoist Tong Yuan laughed. Kong Fei and Shuedaju also laughed after a while. Chapter 245. They laughed for a while and found a place to sit down. Guopai let Shuedaju and Kong Fei order. The two didn't stand on ceremony. They knew how rich Guopai was. The owner of the barbecue restaurant was also very fast. In a short while, the table was filled with food. "Bad guy, I have to say, the barbecue in this small place tastes pretty good," Ewer said with a smile. Although it was very awkward just now, who was Ewer? She was following Fairy Chong Yi, the #1 person in the heavenly court who couldn't be messed with. She had long forgotten what had just happened. Huaxia's food has a history of thousands of years. Didn't it start with barbecue? Guopai said with a smile. "This small town is a bit strange. You can feel it, right?" "I thought you wouldn't ask." "Of course I can feel it. How can there be so much resentment in a small town?" Ewer took a bite of the mutton and shook her head. "Resentment? No wonder I felt a bit uncomfortable when I got off the car. I thought it was because I sat for too long," Shuedaju said while scratching his head. Kong Fei nodded in agreement. "Bad guy, are you going to do something about this?" Ewer asked softly while looking at Guopai, who seemed to be deep in thought. "You like to meddle in other people's business. What's more, we happen to meet here. There's no reason to ignore it. But let's eat first." "Let's eat first," Guopai said with a smile. He picked up a skewer that had just been barbecued and ate it in big bites. "Every one, 20 laminate tendons. That's enough for you. If you want to eat something else, just let me know," the owner of the barbecue restaurant said with a smile as he put a plate of laminate tendons on the table. "Uncle, sit down and have a drink. There's something I want to ask you." Guopai smiled and pulled the bald owner of the barbecue restaurant. He took a stool and placed it next to him. A glass of beer was already filled. "I'm with Scoundrel. I'm from Wu City. I'm traveling with a few friends, and we passed by your place. I wonder if anything has happened here recently?" Gua Scoundrel asked the bald boss with a smile. "Little brother, you must have seen some reports on the internet," the bald boss said with a smile. "I knew that paper can't keep fire from fire. No matter how hard they try to block the news, there will still be people who will know what happened here." "Which newspaper are you from?" "Uncle, I'm really passing by. Did something big happen here recently?" Guopai smiled and asked. He didn't have any celestial energy left. If he used the mind-reading technique, it wouldn't be so troublesome. "Little brother, my name is Peng Dahai. Everyone here calls me Big Brother Hai. You don't have to call me uncle. Calling me Big Brother makes me old," Peng Dahai said with a smile. He then drank a cup of wine and poured himself another cup. "Brother Hai, what's the matter?" Guopai asked with a smile. "You really don't know?" Peng Dahai asked with a trace of doubt. "We are in Shiyun County. You know about it, right?" "Ahem, I saw the big signboard when I drove in. That's how I know," Guopai said with a smile. 7 days ago, something big happened in Shiyun County. Peng Dahai lowered his voice and said softly, "A few female students died. Big Brother Hai, sister-in-law wants you to go over." Peng Dahai still wanted to say something, but a waiter who passed by hurriedly ran over and whispered to Peng Dahai, "I'll come over in a while. You guys eat first." Peng Dahai drank the wine in his cup and walked into the inner room. "What's wrong?" You don't want me to talk? I don't believe that Hua Xia doesn't have the law. The Xiang family can cover up the sky with one hand. After a while, Guopai heard Peng Dehai shouting loudly in the room. Several people who were eating outside looked at the barbecue shop. Keep your voice down. If you want to die, go die. Don't implicate me. I've been with you for so many years. It wasn't easy for me to settle down. What do you want? Peng Dehai's wife said loudly. About 5 or 6 minutes later, Peng Dehai came out of the room and sat next to Guopai again. Little brother, I'm sorry. You should ask someone else about this. You probably heard it just now. I'm running a small business. It's not easy to do business. Peng Dehai clenched his fists and shook his head. After that, he went back into the room again. Guopai nodded slightly. He already knew why Peng Dehai was so angry. It seemed that the deaths of the female students mentioned by Peng Dehai must be related to this matter. Do you mind if I sit here? A young man who was about the same age as Guopai walked to Guopai's side with a smile and asked softly. Then his eyes fell on Yuer. If you can promise not to look at my wife again, you can sit here, Guopai said with a smile. The young man coughed a few times, apologized, and drank a cup of beer. Let's get to know each other. My name is Wang Long, the young man said softly. Do you want to know what happened in Xiun County 7 days ago? If you're willing to tell us, we'd like to hear it, Guopai said with a smile. Then he filled Wang Long's cup. 7 days ago, in a small county like Huaxia, something happened that made hundreds of thousands of people in Yunqi County angry but not dare to say anything. 3 flowery girls had died innocently in the largest KTV in the county. After their deaths, the children's parents did not even see the corpses. They only saw the 3 children being dragged to the KTV and then received 3 urns of ashes. The bodies weren't identified by a forensic doctor. The Public Security Department directly concluded that the 3 girls died of alcohol poisoning because they drank too much. A day later, before the people from the city arrived in Yunqi County, the Yunqi County Public Security Bureau caught fire. The only remaining video footage was all burned. Impossible. My daughter can't go to that kind of place. It's impossible. I know the male student in the video that pulled Xiaoyan. He's Xiang Xiangshan's son. I know why he did this. You're so cruel. Give me back my daughter. A woman in her 30s cried loudly at the door of the county party committee. Take this woman away and lock her up first. Have you dealt with the other 2 families? Money, give them money. If 1 million isn't enough, give them 2 million. Let them admit that their children's behavior is problematic and suppress this matter. On the top floor of the county party committee's office, in the county party secretary's office, a man in his 40s said while smoking, Big brother, see how you went too far this time. You and sister-in-law can't spoil him like this anymore. If you can't, let him go abroad for a while. A man who looked similar to Xiang Xiangshan said softly. This man was Xiang Xiangshan's younger brother, the director of the Yunqi County Public Security Bureau, Xiang Liuxi. Secretary Xiang, don't worry. We'll pay for all the expenses. As long as there's no trouble, we'll be fine. Recently, we've already closed for reorganization. When the people from the city leave, we'll reopen. A man in his 30s said softly. This man was the owner of the KTV where the incident happened, Summer's Passion KTV, Shang Tianxiong. Tianxiong, after we reopen, those things that can't be shown on the table first. If there's any trouble, you'll have to bear it yourself. Xiang Xiangshan said with narrowed eyes. Okay, I got it. Secretary Xiang, if there's nothing else, I'll go back first. Xiang Xiangshan nodded lightly. Shang Tianxiong slowly walked out of the county party secretary's office. After he walked out, he took a deep breath. His back was completely drenched. Xiaoshan, keep the backup of the surveillance footage. Don't tell anyone. I'll transfer 100,000 yuan to your account later. Go back to your hometown and stay there for a while. After Shang Tianxiong finished speaking, he hung up the phone. The faces of the 3 girls appeared in his mind again. Chapter 246. How do you know so much? Wang Long calmly told Guopao what had happened 7 days ago. Guopao looked at the young man in front of him who was about the same age as him and asked softly. Because the 3 girls who died were my classmates, Wang Long said softly, as if he wanted to hide something. Because the three girls were your classmates, because one of them was your girlfriend, and because you were there that day, right? You. But looked at Wang Long and asked softly. Wang Long raised his head and looked at the beautiful girl in front of him. He didn't admit or deny it. Since there was someone you loved and you were there, why didn't you sue them? Shui Dazhu asked loudly. Brother, lower your voice. Wang Long stood up and covered Shui Dazhu's mouth and said softly, Sue them? How? The people who sang together at the KTV that day all had backings. Not to mention Xiang Yu. There was also the son of the disciplinary committee secretary, the nephew of the court president, and the son of the director of the Public Security Bureau. All of them were rich second generations in Yunxi County. How could I sue them? What about you? Which family are you from? Guopai took a bite of meat and asked with a smile. Me? I'm not a second generation. I'm a dog with good grades. Wang Long stared at Guopai and said, Yes, I'm a dog. I harmed them. We're just passers-by in this small county. It's useless for you to tell us about this. Let's go. Don't disturb us while we eat. Guopai looked at Wang Long and said softly. Shui Dazhu wanted to say something, but was stopped by Kong Fei. You really don't care? Wang Long asked again. Why should I care? There are so many things in the world that I can't figure out. Let's not talk about whether I can take care of them. Even if I do, I don't have the energy to do so, Guopai said softly. You could do anything about it. From the first time I saw you, I knew that no one in Yunxi County can do anything about it. In fact, no one in the entire Yuma City can do anything about it. But you can. You're one of those supreme experts mentioned in the books, Wang Long said loudly. The people at the surrounding tables all looked over. You've read too many novels. I can't do anything about this. After Guopai finished speaking, he ordered them to leave again. At this time, 7 or 8 youths dressed like gangsters from a table not far away walked over. I know that I also deserve to die, but I hope that you can help Xiao Yun and the others get justice. Wang Long still wanted to say something, but 7 or 8 youths had already surrounded him. The leading red-haired youth of the 7 hugged Wang Long. Brother Long, we haven't seen each other for a few days. What are you talking about with them? The red-haired youth said with a smile. Let's go and have a seat at our place. Little Yu hasn't come out for the past few days and has asked us to look for you. Didn't brother you go abroad? Wang Long was stunned and asked in a low voice. Brother Gui, I have something to do. I'll leave first. Leave? Where are you going? Are you going to talk to those boys about what happened in Yunxi County a few days ago? Don't worry about it. The youth named Brother Gui slapped Wang Long on the head. Brother Hai, don't touch the food at this table. We'll come back and continue to eat. Heat up the food for us. Let's go out for a walk. Brother Gui said loudly to Peng Dehai, who was grilling the skewers. Peng Dehai didn't dare to offend these people unless he didn't want to run the barbecue shop anymore. Brother Gui, what are you taking me to do? Several youths pulled Wang Long towards a dark alley. What are you doing? I'm not going. I have something to do. Let me go. Wang Long shouted loudly, but he was a student. He couldn't compete with several gangster youths. After a while, he disappeared into the dark alley. Bad guy, are you going to do something about it? Shui Dazhu looked at the alley and asked softly. Don't use your internal strength. Kong Fei, you and Dazhu go and have a look. Guopai said with a smile. He picked up a few cold skewers and walked to Peng Dehai's side. He didn't speak and started to grill the skewers. Little brother, do you really want to take care of this matter? Peng Dehai couldn't help but ask softly. Do you want me to take care of it or not? Guopai said with a smile. If I take care of it, I won't have to pay for this meal, haha. Little brother, I won't hide it from you. One of the 3 girls is the child of a distant relative of mine. Little Yin has been smart since she was young. Every one of our relatives has praised her since she was young. For her to be harmed by these bastards, the heavens must be blind. Peng Dehai shook his head and said, God is blind? Haha. Yes, there are some people above who have eyes but can't see. But since they arranged for me to meet them, I can't say that they are blind. Guopai said softly, This meal is on you. Leave the matter of these students to me, haha. After saying that, Guopai picked up the hot skewers and walked to his seat. He smiled and gave half of it to the excited Yu. Brother Gui, what do you want to do? Wang Long was blocked by 7 people in a corner. He trembled as he asked. Weren't you talking happily just now? What do we want to do? Little you said that after thinking about it, there's still one uneasy factor, and that is you. You know too much. Brother Gouet said as a steel pipe as thick as a child's arm appeared in his hand. Brother Fei, where did you get this cell phone? How can it record so clearly in such a dark place? Shui Dezhu and Kong Fei also walked into the alley. Shui Dezhu held a cell phone and said to the group of people in the corner with a smile, Dazhu, when we return to the capital, I will get you one. This thing is a limited edition. The number of people in Huaxia who have this cell phone can be counted on one hand. Kong Fei said with a smile. What he said was true. The cell phone that the T-Rex group was given was specially developed by Huaxia's military institute. Although it didn't look like much, its functions were so powerful that it made people speechless. Then I will thank Brother Fei first, Shui Dazhu said with a smile. Say if these few people kill this guy, called Wang Long, and we upload the video online, do you think they will have any hope of escaping the law? Before Kong Fei could answer, 7 young men walked towards Shui Dazhu and Kong Fei. The steel pipe in Brother Gouet's hand hit the wall of the alley, and pieces of the wall fell off. The other 6 people also took out all kinds of weapons. Are the 2 of you going to meddle in other people's business? Let me put it this way. If you guys are just passing by Yunshi County, do whatever you need to do. Take it as giving us some face. If you guys are sent by the higher-ups, report to Master Xiang. Master Xiang won't mistreat you, Brother Ghost said with narrowed eyes. Master Xiang? What a great master. However, our bad master said that we will take this person away. Make it convenient for us, Shui Dezhu said with a smile. Before Shui Dezhu finished speaking, Brother Gouet gave a look. The 6 people rushed towards Kong Fei and Kong Fei together. Bang, bang, bang. Baseball bats and steel pipes fell on Shui Dezhu and Kong Fei's bodies without any fancy moves. After 3 minutes, the 6 gangsters felt that their hands were numb from the beating and could not help but retreat. Weak, weak, weak. Too weak. Do you think people like you can survive in society? Kong Fei stood up with a smile. He patted the dust off his body and looked at the 7 people with a smile. Shui Dezhu nodded in agreement. You too, it's a small world. Don't force us. Brother Gouet looked at the 2 of them and shouted loudly. According to psychological analysis, you are shouting now because you are afraid. Also, you seem to have a trump card. According to a normal guess, you should have a decent weapon, Kong Fei said with a smile. Shui Dezhu smiled again and nodded. Go to hell. The 2 of you are looking for death. Let me tell you, if you dare to meddle in Yunshi County's business, you are looking for death. As he spoke, a Type 54 pistol appeared in Brother Gouet's hand. He pointed it directly at Shui Dezhu and Kong Fei. I will kill the 2 of you first. We will slowly deal with the 3 people outside. That girl is so beautiful. We will not waste her. Go to hell. All these years, what I hate the most is people pointing guns at me. Kong Fei's face darkened. The moment Brother Gouet pulled the trigger, the Type 54 pistol had changed hands. Chapter 247. Kong Fei narrowed his eyes and looked at Brother Ghost. The Type 54 pistol was already in his hand. Then, Brother Ghost's eyes widened. Kong Fei seemed to be performing magic. In a few seconds, the complete pistol had turned into a pile of parts. Dazhu, give me the phone, Kong Fei said with a smile. Shui Dezhu handed the phone that was still recording to Kong Fei. Kong Fei took a few pictures of the bullets in the phone and then took a picture of an inconspicuous place on the pistol. A moment later, a message came back from the phone. The Yunshi Line Security Bureau in Yuma City is really amazing. A few gangsters can actually get a gun from the County Public Security Bureau, Kong Fei said with a gloomy face. Although he had been in the T-Rex group, he knew a lot about the current situation in Huaxia. He had heard other brothers who carried out missions talk about gangs in various places. He didn't expect that it was really like what they said, and it was even worse. Brother, I advise the 2 of you. No matter where the 2 of you come from, it's better for the 2 of you not to get involved in the matters of Yunshi County. Brother Ghost lowered his head and said softly. Kong Fei's powerful combat power made them completely dumbfounded. However, It was impossible for Kong Fei to bring down the Xiang family in Yunxi County alone. Sorry, we will definitely take care of this matter, Shuedazhu said with a smile. In his mind, it seemed that there was nothing that Guo Pai couldn't handle. Wasn't it just a county party secretary? Huaxia's Special Abilities Group was such a fierce organization that Guo Pai killed its leader. Why would he care about a county party secretary? Since you want to get involved in this mess, then do as you please. We brothers admit defeat this time. You could do whatever you want. If you want to fight or kill, if I, Li Sangue, beg for mercy again, I will change my surname to yours. Brother Ghost knew that he couldn't hide this time, so he simply pretended to be a tough guy. You guys go. We are here to find Wang Long. We don't want to do anything to you, Kong Fei said with a smile. He pulled up Wang Long, who was squatting in the corner, and walked to the barbecue stall with Shuedazhu again. It took a long time for Brother Ghost to come back to his senses. The few hooligans lying on the ground also stood up and looked at Brother Ghost, waiting for him to come up with an idea. Master Xiong, I am Little Ghost, the KTV manager. I used to work in the Public Security Bureau for a while. Brother Ghost thought for a while and called the boss of Summer Passion KTV, Shang Tianxiong. Agoué, it's so late. What's the matter? On the top floor of the KTV, Shang Tianxiong went to his own office after coming out of the county party secretary's office. The twins were by his side, and he needed to vent his tension. The two girls were tortured by him. A few strangers came to Yunxi County today and asked about the 7 days' worth of money. They seemed to be quite concerned about it, Brother Ghost said softly. You fought with them? Shang Tianxiong was stunned. He took a sip of red wine and asked softly. 7 of us fought against 2 of them. We didn't win, and the guns were destroyed by them. Brother Ghost didn't hide anything and said, they may be people sent by the higher-ups. Okay, I got it. You guys go to the account later and take 10,000 yuan to check your injuries. Now keep an eye on these people. Shang Tianxiong narrowed his eyes and said. Then he dialed the phone number of Yunxi County's Public Security Bureau Chief, Xiang Liuxi. What? The higher-ups sent people again? No, this matter has been suppressed. The higher-ups don't have so much free time. You don't have to worry about this. I will go and meet these people, Xiang Liuxi said softly. After hanging up the phone, he changed into casual clothes and drove to the barbecue stall where Guo Pai and the others were eating. Why did you save me? Why didn't you let me die? Wang Long was brought to Guo Pai by Kong Fei and Shuedazhu. Wang Long shouted at Guo Pai. For the first time, and also for the only time, I don't like your attitude. I know what you want to do, but I won't fall for it. Put away the little tricks in your heart. You want to play tricks with me? You are too inexperienced, Guo Pai said softly while eating the meat skewers. Among the 3 of them, there is your beloved. You must know everything about the KTV. Tell me, if you don't want them to die without knowing why. Wang Long bit his lips and looked at the young man in front of him who was about the same age as him. He didn't know why, but there was a natural reverence in his heart. It was 100 times more reverence than Xiang Yu's group of young masters. Xiang Yu asked me to ask Little Yun and the others out. I didn't dare to refuse, but I didn't think that Xiang Yu and the others would do such a thing in the KTV. I am a coward, a complete coward. I watched Little Yun and the others being humiliated that day, and I didn't even dare to say a word. I am the one who harmed them, Wang Long said while crying. You are indeed a coward. No, you're also a bastard. If it wasn't for you, the 3 girls wouldn't have come out in the middle of the night. Didn't you dream of Little Yun looking for you recently? You? Looked at Wang Long with disdain and asked loudly. You, how do you know? I am sorry for Little Yun and the others. I am the one who harmed them. I know everything, but I don't dare to testify in court. I still remember the way Little Yun's mother looked at me. My life is over, Wang Long replied loudly. You withdraw your pressure. If you continue like this, he will go crazy. Guo Pai looked at the angry Yu and said softly. At this time, an inconspicuous Santana stopped not far from the barbecue restaurant. Peng Dehai hurriedly walked to Guo Pai's side. That car belongs to Xiang Liuxi, the director of the Public Security Bureau of Yunxi County, Xiang Xiangshan's brother. Little brothers, be careful. This guy is famous in Yunshi County for being a smiling tiger. He eats people without spitting out the bones. Peng Dehai finished speaking and greeted Xiang Liushi with a smile. Director Xiang, what brings you here? What do you want to eat? Just tell me, I will roast it for you. Do you want to eat something ready-made? Peng Dehai said with a smile. Dehai, don't talk about Director Xiang. I will sit here and eat with these few guests. This table is mine today. Give us some more roast meat. Xiang Liushi said as he moved a stool and sat next to Guopai. You came to our Yunshi County, but didn't come in time. I will punish myself with a cup. Xiang Liushi said as he picked up the white wine on the table and drank it directly. Are you going to visit our Yunshi County, or are you just passing by? If you're going to stay for a few days, I will find you a few tour guides and bodyguards tomorrow. Yunshi County has been a bit chaotic recently. Xiang Liushi finished speaking and drank the second cup of white wine. Enjoy your meal. I still have things to do, so I will leave first. Dehai, calculate how much this table is. Xiang Liushi finished his third cup of white wine and stood up. He handed 1,000 yuan to Peng Dehai and walked into the car without looking back. Then, he stepped on the accelerator and the car disappeared. Peng Dehai was stunned. Xiang Liushi said 3 sentences at the table and drank 3 cups of white wine. Guopai didn't even look at him. No matter what, Xiang Liushi was completely defeated in terms of momentum. A smiling tiger. He is a ruthless character. Guopai said softly, No, I have to go find my big brother. These guys are not easy to deal with. Xiang Liushi, who was scared by Guopai, thought for a while. Then he turned the car around and drove to Xiang Xiangshan's house in the county committee's courtyard. Chapter 248. Kong Fei looked at the departing Xiang Liushi. The crows in the world are all black. According to common sense, tonight was destined to be a bad night. Kong Fei smiled and told Guopao about his past experiences. Guopao nodded gently. Different situations call for different actions. Let's just go with the flow. Brother Hai, since someone has paid for this table, we won't pay for it. Leave this place for us tomorrow. We'll come back tomorrow. Guopai smiled and pulled Yu-er. The 5 people walked back to the hotel together. Boss, if I were you, I wouldn't let this guy go. Letting the tiger return to the mountain and leave behind future troubles is a big taboo in Jianghu. Guo Tongyuan whispered, Tongyuan, don't you realize that it's more interesting to let him go? Otherwise, it's too boring. You go somewhere else with Yu-er. I'll stay here with Kong Fei and Daju. Guopai said with a smile. Guo Tongyuan thought for a moment, and the corner of his mouth revealed a trace of a smirk. I'll stay too. Boss, let me stay. I'll absolutely obey your orders. Guo Tongyuan said with a trace of expectation. At any rate, I'm staying behind. Since it's such a fun thing, I have to stay behind. Furthermore, there's so much resentment here. You can't just take all the merit for yourself, Yu-er said with a mischievous grin. Guopai looked at the two and shook his head helplessly. Let them stay. This small Yunshi County can't cause any trouble. Xiang Liushi didn't dare to delay at all. He drove directly to Xiang Xiangshan's house. Second uncle, it's so late. Why are you here? Xiang Yu was about to leave the house when he met Xiang Liushi. It's all because of you. Come in. What are you going to do out so late? What are you going to do? Xiang Liushi looked at his nephew and said loudly, Uncle, what are you talking about? What can I do? Those 3 women are really too much. We just drank a little wine together. We didn't do anything, but they were so desperate. Xiang Yu said with a smile. Xiang Liushi grabbed Xiang Yu's arm and directly pulled him into the Xiang family's house. Liushi, it's so late. Why are you here? Xiao Yu, didn't I tell you to stay at home and not go anywhere? Where are you going? A middle-aged woman looked at them and asked. She was Xiang Yu's mother, Qin Yuro. To be honest, she was the last person in Yunshi County to be offended. Qin Haoyan, Qin Yurong's father, was the commander of the Northwest Military Region and a well-known figure in the military circle. Liushi, you're back. Come in and talk. Xiang Xiangshan said with a smile. But after a moment, he felt that his younger brother's expression was a little strange, and a trace of waves suddenly rose in his heart. Yurong, keep an eye on Xiao Yu. If he goes out again, I'll break his legs. Tell Dad to send someone to bring Xiao Yu to his place tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. I'm not going. What's so good about the army? It's just a bunch of men. Xiang Yu still wanted to say something, but Qin Yurong directly pulled her into the room. How many of them were sent by the higher-ups? Xiang Xiangshan asked in a low voice. I don't think so, but one of them was from the army, and the other one was a boy. I can't see through him, but I'm sure he's a tough guy, and he's going to take care of this matter. Xiang Liushi said in a low voice. I saw their photos. The man from the army you mentioned is this big guy, right? Xiang Xiangshan took out his mobile phone, on which there was a photo of Guo Pai and the other 4 people eating. I've asked the military region to investigate this big guy's identity. They should get back to me soon. As for the boy you mentioned, he seems to be a doctor in a medical center in Wu Castle. According to the letter from Wu Castle, this boy is quite popular. Xiang Liushi nodded slightly. Now he needed to wait for the letter from the military region to find out the background of this big guy. Secretary Xiang, Commander Qin asked me to tell you not to provoke the soldier in the photo. You can't afford to offend him. A low voice on the other side of the phone said. They did find Kong Fei's file, but there were 4 S-level soldiers. Except for the number 1 chief, no one could see Kong Fei's file. Is he a big shot? Xiang Xiangshan continued to ask. Commander Qin doesn't have enough authority. There's only one possibility for such a file. He's Violent Dragon's man. Secretary Xiang, take care of yourself. After that, the military line hung up, and the 2 brothers of the Xiang family looked worse. Brother, what should we do? Xiang Liushi lit a cigarette and asked in a low voice. Do it cleanly. Even if Violent Dragon comes, our Yunshi County will have to lie on the ground. Xiang Xiangshan said with a gloomy face, gather all the special police in Yunshi County and catch all these escaped terrorists. Xiang Liushi nodded heavily and then made several phone calls. After a while, the whole Yunshi County was alarmed. The biggest anti-terrorist operation in Yunshi County began, and the target was the hotel where Guo Pai and the others were staying. Master Scoundrel, that's quite a commotion. Snipers have already gone up to the vantage points over there, Kong Fei said with a smile as he walked around the corridor and saw Guo Scoundrel's calm face. So many people have been sent. They must have defined us as terrorists. Guo Pai said with a smile, I don't want to hurt those soldiers. Kong Fei, do you have any good ideas? Good ideas? Mr. Bad, you seem to be the commander of the 531 Army. Do you have your officer certificate? Take it out and let me use it. Let's talk about it after these people in the army leave. Kong Fei said with a smile. Guo Pai took out a small red booklet and handed it to Kong Fei. After a while, all the lights in the corridor suddenly went out, and Kong Fei disappeared from the corridor on the 3rd floor. Battalion Commander, that guy's surname Xiang, made such a big fuss. Our military exercise has been postponed. What is he trying to do? A big man asked softly to another man who is even fiercer than him. Who knows? The higher-ups just called and said to cooperate with the Yunshi County Public Security to carry out the mission and kill terrorists. If there are terrorists in Yunshi County, they must be Xiang's family. I don't know who this guy is trying to trick this time. The Northwest Military Region's Special Forces, who were carrying out the military exercise in Yuma City, were transferred to Yunshi County with a phone call. No one, from the battalion commander to the soldiers, knew what was going on. Don't move and don't talk. I'm Kong Fei from the T-Rex group. Please cooperate with me, Battalion Commander Ma. A voice suddenly sounded in their ears. Battalion Commander Ma wanted to reach for his gun, but it was already taken by Kong Fei. T-Rex group? Even your T-Rex group is mobilized. Why are we still here? Battalion Commander Ma Jia asked with a trace of doubt. They were the strongest soldiers in the Northwest Military Region. When it came to the Northwest Military Region's Special Forces, Huaxia was also a group of strong people. However, compared to the T-Rex group, they were nothing. Battalion Commander Ma, don't get too excited. Take a look at this first, Kong Fei said as he placed his ID and Guo Pai's military ID in front of Ma Jia. Division Commander Guo Pai? Is he the new division commander that 531 recently got? The division commander who made 531 strength increase by a huge margin? Lieutenant Colonel, Lieutenant Colonel, Lieutenant Colonel Light. Yes, Division Commander Wapai. However, he is the terrorist that you are trying to kill. I suggest that Battalion Commander Ma send a message to the higher-ups. You don't want to be the scapegoat. This is going to be a big scapegoat, Kong Fei said with a smile. What? You're saying that the person we are cooperating with the Yunshi County Public Security to kill is Guopai? How is that possible? Guopai can't be a terrorist. Ma Jie shook his head like a rattle drum. Chapter 249. Yes, 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 I understand. Ma Jie nodded vigorously. Kong Fei did not know who was on the other end of the phone, but he could sense that the person was of high status. Brother Kong Fei, Commander Liu of the Northwest Military Region, asked me to listen to Commander Guo's orders. Just tell us what you need us to do, Ma Jie said with a smile. Ma Jie said with a smile. Kong Fei also laughed. It seemed that he had underestimated Guo Pao's power. What was even more unexpected was that Ma Jie's phone call had messed up the entire Huaxiao military region. A group of senior officers who had already fallen asleep woke up one by one. If something happened to Guopai in Yunshi County, it would be a slap to the 531 Army, the Imperial Capital Military Region, and the entire Huaxiao military region. Qin Yinshan of the Northwest Military Region did something that he would regret for the rest of his life. Until today, he finally knew that he had married his daughter to Xiang Xiangshan, but his daughter had given birth to a bastard with the surname Xiang. He was famous for being protective of his own people, but he did not expect this incident to be so serious. Lao Qin, we have worked together for 53 years, right? Lu Dachuan, the commander of the Northwest Military Region, called Qin Yinshan to his office in the middle of the night. Qin Yinshan naturally knew why Lu Dachuan asked him to come here. One was the commander, the other was the deputy commander. The two of them had been brothers for decades. Old Lu, I did not expect Xiaoyu to make such a big mistake this time. I will not participate in this incident. No matter how you deal with it, I will obey. Qin Yinshan shook his head and said, I have already informed the people in the special forces. The higher-ups have given an order to remove the Xiang family from Yunshi County, Lu Dachuan said softly. Lao Qin, I understand. I will not leave this room until everything is settled. As he spoke, Qin Yinshan took out his phone and gently placed it on the table. Lu Dachuan nodded and walked out. Qin Yinshan closed his eyes. I am Ma Jie of the Special Forces. I want to see your director, Xiang. Ma Jie stood outside a command vehicle and said loudly. The two deputy directors respectfully invited Mason into the command vehicle. Battalion Commander Ma, if your men are ready, then hurry up and take care of those bastards, Xiang Liushi said to Ma Jie with a smile. Director Xiang, we can't rush this. If the people inside are terrorists, I'm afraid they might have weapons of mass destruction. Innocent people will be harmed. Let's disperse the crowd first, Lieutenant Colonel Mason said softly. Commander Ma, I've seen the strength of the snipers in our special forces. There are 5 of them. We can just kill them with a sniper rifle. No matter what kind of weapons we have, it's useless if no one uses them. Don't you think so? A deputy director beside, Xiang Liushi said with a smile. He had been tossed around in the middle of the night. Xiang Liushi had just told him the purpose of this operation, so he naturally hoped to get it done quickly. There's no hurry. I just heard something about Chief Xiang's nephew, so I came to verify it with him. Lieutenant Colonel Mason sat down opposite Xiang Liushi with a smile. Xiang Liushi suddenly had a bad feeling. What are you talking about, Commander Ma? There have been some rumors about Xiaoyu in Yunshi County recently. He is Commander Qin's grandson. This kid has been following some bad examples. Secretary Xiang has already sent him to the detention center. However, we can't believe all the rumors in Yunshi County, Xiang Liushi said with a smile. He took the lead in raping 3 pretty girls and forcing 3 high school students to their deaths. I'm afraid it's not enough to send him to the detention center, Lieutenant Colonel Mason said with a smile. Xiang Liushi put his hand on the pistol at his waist. Xiang Liushi, put your hands in front of you. And you too, behave yourselves. I can tell you that if you do anything that makes my men think you've crossed the line, you will be shot dead, Lieutenant Colonel Mason said with narrowed eyes. You're the local tyrants of Yunshi County. You've crossed the line. Lieutenant Colonel Mason, I don't know what you're talking about. Are you not going to listen to Commander Chin? Xiang Liushi questioned loudly. Tell your men to leave. We've been busy for a long time. It's time for the public security system in Yunshi County to be cleaned up, Lieutenant Colonel Mason said softly. You're just a battalion commander. You don't have that much power. Lu Jiang, bring your men to the command car. Before the last word could be uttered, a dark trajectory appeared between the deputy director's eyebrows. He was as dead as a doornail. Lieutenant Colonel Mason, who gave you the courage to order your men to shoot public officials? You've seriously violated the law of Huaxia. You're a soldier. You'll be court-martialed for this, Xiang Liushi said excitedly. Then he heard a commotion outside the command car. However, it was quiet after a while. Don't you think it's ridiculous that you're talking about the law with me? Do you have any idea who you want us to kill today? Asterisk, 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 asterisk. Do you think the commander of the 531 Battalion is a criminal? Lieutenant Colonel Mason put Guopai's military officer ID in front of Xiang Liushi. You'll know tomorrow whether I'm guilty or you're guilty. The people of Yunshi County will sentence you and everyone related to you, Lieutenant Colonel Mason said loudly. Guo Xiao nodded in satisfaction as he watched TV while drinking wine in the hotel. Everything Ma Jie said was beneficial to him. The battalion commander of the Special Forces was not bad at all. Boss, I thought we'd have to fight a bunch of people outside. I didn't expect you to solve it this way. Boring, really boring. Guo Tanyuan drank a mouthful of wine and said while shaking his head. We're just dealing with some trivial matters today. That soul won't leave. Tanyuan, if you want some excitement, you can go and help her. It'll be a great merit. Guo Tanyuan said with a smile. Guo Tanyuan shrank his head back. A vengeful spirit could not enter the cycle of reincarnation or go to hell for 7 days after death. Even the ghost soldiers and ghost generals could not do anything to her. Guo Pai and Yu laughed when they saw Guo Tongyuan's expression. Kong Fei, I'll leave everything outside to you. Take Dazhu and see the world. Lieutenant Colonel Mason is a good guy. Give this to him. I'm going to sleep. Guo Pai pulled Yu to her feet and walked straight into the bedroom. You're so mean. After Kong Fei finished speaking, he pulled Shui Dazhu out. Guo Tanyuan had nothing to do, so he followed them out. Battalion Commander, we've got all the special forces under control. The Northwest Military Region has also sent people to take over the security of Yunshi County. There's no problem. A soldier ran up to Lieutenant Colonel Mason and said, Lu Song, take your men to the Summer Passion KTV. Make sure no one escapes. Also, ask Zhu Qing to piece together the video fragments. We'll need them tomorrow, Lieutenant Colonel Mason said. Brother Mason, I don't think I'm under your command. It's not easy to recover the footage, but I did manage to get a phone call. I think you'll be interested, a beautiful woman said with a smile. A good-looking woman said with a smile. She was the company commander of the Northwest Military Regions Information Company, Zhu Qing. Little Qing, you're going to make a great contribution again, Lieutenant Colonel Mason said with a smile. Chapter 250. Don't talk to me about meritorious service. If you don't give me something practical, I won't care about Yunshi County anymore, Zhu Qing said loudly. Sister, are you trying to make things difficult for me? I'm just a small fry. I don't think you'll be interested in my stuff, Ma Jie said helplessly. He knew his sister well. She would never help him if she said she would. Sister, don't make things difficult for Brother Ma. What do you want? I'll give it to you, Kong Fei said when he saw Zhu Qing arguing with Ma Jie. You? Who are you? Do you have what I want? Zhu Qing said loudly without turning her head. If there is, give me a strong man first. A man who can at least beat up Battalion Commander Ma of the Special Forces. Ahem, beauty, if you really need a strong man, I think Brother Kong would be your best choice, Shuedazhu said softly. Zhu Qing turned her head abruptly and saw Kong Fei and Shuedazhu. What kind of man have I not seen before? Don't tell me he's just good-looking but useless. Zhu Qing said with a pout. However, There was something special about Kong Fei that made her heart beat faster. Little Qing, let me introduce you. This is Kong Fei from the T-Rex group. Brother, this girl is the head of the information company in the Northwest Military Region. Her computer skills are the best in the Northwest Military Region, Ma Jie said with a thumbs up. T-Rex group? The Tyrannosaurus Rex. The most mysterious group in Huaxia, whose combat power completely surpasses your special forces by 100 streets? Zhu Qing asked with her eyes wide open. Ma Jie was speechless. What do you mean by much stronger than our special forces? Hello, may I know what you need to help us? You can tell us. Kong Fei said to Zhu Qing with a smile. Ahem, nice to meet you. My name is Zhu Qing. I'm the head of the information company in the Northwest Military Region. I'm going to be promoted to a battalion commander soon. It's my honor to work with the T-Rex group. I don't need anything. I just want to get to know you. Zhu Qing's voice was getting softer and softer. Her face was burning. Brother Fei, Company Commander Zhu has already made his stance clear. You should hurry up, Zhu said with a smile. During this period of time with Guopai, no one knew how many other skills he had learned, but Zhu had learned a lot from observing this girl's skills. Company Commander Zhu, I'm no longer a member of the Tyrannosaurus group. The reason I'm asking for your help this time is purely a personal request. How about this? Since you're too embarrassed to ask for anything, I'll give you this pill. Don't take it yet. Let me ask boss if girls can use it. But this thing is definitely something good. Kong Fei gave Zhu Qing the things that Guopai asked him to give to Ma Jie. Anyway, they were all from the Northwest Military Region. It didn't matter who he gave it to. Xiao Qing quickly accepted. If you don't want it, you can give it to me. I'll give you the Golden Desert Eagle that I won from last year's International Special Forces competition in exchange. If not, I'll give you the Golden Alaska from last year as well. Accept it first, Ma Jie said excitedly. Others might not know, but he knew that the strength of 531's members had increased by a large margin. It seemed that they had eaten some kind of medicinal pill. Are you looking down on me? I already said that I'm willing to help you, Zhu Qing said softly with a red face. Kong Fei laughed foolishly. Ma Jie's eyes widened. Was this Zhu Qing still the fearless Zhu Qing from the Northwest Military Region who could make the commander lose a layer of skin? Hee, if that's the case, then I'll have to trouble you first. After this is done, I'll take you to see my boss and ask him to give you something useful, Kong Fei said with a smile. You could just call me Xiao Qing. I don't think I'm older than you, Zhu Qing said with a red face. What are you looking at, little henchman? I'll give you a chance to make a contribution. Listen to this conversation. Go and find the boss of Summer's Passion. I'm sure you have many ways to make him hand over the video. After you hand it over, bring it to me and I'll deal with it. Xiao Qing, your brother and I are good friends. Can you not call me a henchman in front of outsiders? Ma Jie said with a dark expression. However, Kong Fei's action made the 2-meter-tall man excited. Since little Qing doesn't want this pill, give it to Battalion Commander Ma. Master Bad wants me to thank you for your help this time. As he spoke, Kong Fei handed over the pill that he had prepared for Ma Jie. Tell Division Commander Guopai that if he needs me, just tell him directly. There's no need to thank me. I'm going to get back to work, Ma Jie said as he drove towards Summer's Passion. Brother Fei, is the Guo scoundrel you're talking about the owner of the Boom Medical Hall? Zhu Qing asked in a low voice. Sister Qing, you know our boss too? Zhu said before Kong Fei could say anything. It's really him? Where is he? Can you take me to see him? He's my idol. And that youth-retaining pill? Do you still have it? Can you give me one? It's a pity that I don't have the money. However, if you can give me a youth-retaining pill, you can come to me directly if you need anything related to computers. Let's not talk about Huaxia. I can even find a way to investigate the Pentagon, Zhu Qing said as she raised her head. When I'm done, I'll take you to see our boss, Kong Fei said with a smile. Zhu Qing's smile was like a flower. Kong Fei and Zhu's eyes widened. Their boss was indeed the boss. Even people thousands of miles away worshipped him. Thank you, Brother Fei. No wonder you left the T-Rex group to follow Guopai. I'll apply for demobilization when I return to the military region. I'll come to you then, Zhu Qing said softly. Zhu's eyes widened. This good-looking woman in front of him was so fierce. She was confessing to Brother Fei directly. Ahem, little Qing, you should think about some things carefully. Don't do anything irrational. Kong Fei also understood what Zhu Qing meant and said in a low voice. What's wrong? Do you have a wife? I just checked your information. You're single. You don't have anyone at home. You can take me to see your grandma in a few days. You can also come home with me. You don't have to worry about my family. I have the final say in my family. What's wrong? What's the meaning of your expression? Do you think I'm not good enough for you? Zhu Qing was like a machine gun. A series of words stunned Kong Fei. No, we just met for the first time. Do you think I'm a good person? Kong Fei said with a red face. Good person? You're not a good person. All these years, you've been carrying out missions in the T-Rex group. The number of lives you've taken has already exceeded 2 digits. Also, because of some disguises, you've been to those places. But if you dare to go there again in the future, I'll teach you a lesson. Zhu Qing said loudly. Of course, if you have any needs, just come to me directly. I'll satisfy you. Kong Fei's eyes widened. Xuedazhu rubbed his eyes hard. This woman in front of him was too fierce. However, 6 words still appeared in his mind unconsciously. Brother Fei's spring is here. Chapter 252. Ma Jie was very efficient. In less than 10 minutes, not only had Shang Tianxiong been caught, but the person Shang Tianxiong had contacted through the phone, Xiao Shan, had also failed to escape from Yunxi County. The video of him killing 3 female students surfaced. Damn it, I'm so pissed off. These scumbags, why are we still being nice to them? Kill them with machine guns. No, we're letting them off too easily. Hand them over to the special forces and give them all the torture methods you use to interrogate criminals. If they don't finish the torture, they'll die. Henchmen, you don't have to work in the special forces anymore, Zhu Qing said angrily after watching the video. Ma Jie looked at Kong Fei for help. Xiao Qing, do what I need first. I'll take care of these people. None of them can escape, Kong Fei said softly. Zhu Qing nodded firmly. Zhu Qing was very professional. In about an hour, she cut the video into several segments according to Guo Pai's request. Of course, they didn't just get one segment of the video after capturing Shang Tianxiong. They got so much that Ma Jie and the others were shocked. They couldn't imagine that in a small county like Yunxi County, these bureau chief and county magistrate dared to disregard the law and treat people's lives like grass. Brother Hai, I didn't ask you to come here for any other reason. I just want you to help me find out who these people are. You've been in Yunxi County for more than 20 years. You should know these people, right? Xuedazhu asked Peng Dehai to come over. Segments of the video started to become clearer. Peng Dehai clenched his fists tightly with a hint of anger and excitement. Could Yunxi County really see the light of day again? Dehai, why did they ask you to come over? You're not talking nonsense, right? No matter who they are, we've seen the king of hell before. You're not talking nonsense, right? Peng Dehai's wife asked nervously when he returned home. Wife, I'm going to grill some meat skewers. We haven't had a drink for a long time. Let's drink some today. The weather in Yunxi County is going to change tomorrow, Peng Dehai said excitedly. This made his wife even more confused. I know about the weather. I've seen the weather forecast. It says it's going to rain tomorrow, Peng Dehai's wife said softly. Dehai, you just need to make sure that we're fine. I don't care about anything else. Wife, don't worry. Tomorrow, those leaders of Yunxi County will settle the debt with us. Peng Dehai didn't misjudge them. Haha. As Peng Dehai spoke, he chuckled and went to grill the meat skewers. In the Xiang family's mansion, Xiang Xiangshan was drinking tea. According to his estimation, his elder brother should have arrived by now. Why was there no news at all? He made a few calls, but Xiang Liushi didn't pick up. There. And you. Your own big brother is not the kind of person you described him to be. It seems that he has met a tough nut this time. These outsiders are not simple. Go to sleep first. Tomorrow, try to contact Dad and send Xiao Yu to the Northwest Military Region for a period of time to settle down. If this continues, something will happen sooner or later. I'll go and see what's going on. After saying that, Xiangshan changed his clothes and walked straight out of the Xiang family's courtyard. The big fish is out. The big fish is out. Ma Jie's voice came from his walkie-talkie. Take them down. Bring them here. There's no need to explain anything to him. You can use force if necessary, Ma Jie said loudly. If he hadn't seen the videos, he might have been more polite to the leader of Yunxi County. Now he was being polite. There was no need for that. Xiang Luiyue was taken away by several people from the Northwest Military Region before Xiang Xiangshan could find Xiang Luiyue. He knew that things had gotten out of hand. At 1 o'clock in the evening, Qin Yurong woke up and found that her husband was not back yet. His phone was turned off. She had a bad feeling. She called her father and her husband, but no one answered. There might be a reason why Xiang Xiangshan could not answer, but it was impossible that Qin Yunshan's phone was not answered. A military region commander's phone was not answered, which made Qin Yurong very nervous. Old Gao, is Xiangshan with you? He said he was on a mission today. He went out to find Liushi and didn't come back. I can't get through to him either. Qin Yurong waited until 2 o'clock in the morning, but still could not get through to Xiang Xiangshan. She had no choice but to call several county heads and deputy county heads of Yunxi County. In the middle of the night, the entire Yunxi County was in chaos. Don't worry, sister-in-law. I'll call and ask. The secretary is not child. Besides, I'm going to find Director Xiang. Have they finished their work and gone to have dinner? I'll call and ask about the restaurant where we often eat. Gao Qingyun, the county head of Yunxi County, hung up the phone. He did not call any restaurant at all. Instead, he directly called several of his trusted aides, the director of the Yunxi County Tax Bureau, the director of the Department of Justice, and the director of the Environmental Protection Bureau. After they talked on the phone, they vaguely felt that something was wrong. If the higher-ups really send people to investigate the matter in Yunxi County, push all the responsibility to the Xiang family. Remember, Gao Qingyun was not too nervous. Instead, he hung up the phone with a trace of pride. At this time, he had been blinded by the position he had been waiting for several years. He only saw the various evil deeds that Xiang Xiangshan had committed in Yunxi County over the years, but he was not much better than Xiang Xiangshan. In Yunxi County, after a sleepless night, the sky was still gloomy the next day. The air in Yunxi County was worse than before. What made people feel even more uncomfortable was that there seemed to be something mixed in the weather today. Boss, the things you asked us to do have been done. The people from the television station are outside. Shaoqing has already contacted the Northwest Military Region. We can use special means to answer the phone calls of everyone in Yunxi County at any time. Those who have the internet can directly synchronize the video on the internet. Kong Fei said softly when he saw Guo Pai, who had woken up at some point in time and had not slept all night, just like him. Let's go to the square together. Bring all the people who are ready to run to the square. Bring all the people who haven't run to the square as well. If anything happens, it's all on me, Guo Pai said loudly. At midnight last night, Guo Pai called Li Dafu in the Imperial City. Although Li Dafu had been paying attention to Guo Pai, he still felt a little surprised when he received a call from Guo Pai at night. Uncle Li, it's not a big deal. I just passed by Yunxi County and saw some of the dark side of your officialdom. I want to take care of it. I know you can't control Yunxi County. You can send a message to your boss. I want to take care of this matter. Guo Pai said very strongly. Li Dafu immediately dialed the number of the big boss, Hua Xia. The other party only said one sentence. He could do whatever he wanted and would fully cooperate with him if he needed any resources. At this time, Li Dafu realized that he had underestimated Guo Pai's ability. At the very least, he had underestimated Guo Pai's position in the big boss heart. I know. It seems that Hua Xia still has some good officials. Tell the big boss that I won't do such a thing a second time. It's time for him to manage some people properly. Don't always think that it has nothing to do with him. After saying that, Guo Pai hung up the phone. At 8 o'clock sharp this morning, I hope you can turn on the TV or come to Yunxi People's Square. You are needed here. Yunxi needs you. At 6 o'clock in the morning, the same text message was sent to all the people of Yunxi County. It was sent 3 times. Some people woke up from their sleep. At first, they thought that it was a joke. However, the moment they turned on the TV, everyone was stunned. All the channels were broadcasting the same thing. A line of bright red words appeared on the TV. The trial of the masses. Turn on the TV quickly. I'm going to Yunshi People's Square. Yunshi County is finally going to see the light of day again. The brief description on the television allowed more and more people to know what had happened in Yunshi County. Many people began to walk towards the square. In less than 10 minutes, the square was filled with people. Even the buildings around the square were filled with people. Yunshi County was in an uproar. Chapter 253. At the end of the first video, Xiang Xiangshan's face was ashen. He later found out that his son had forced 3 female students to their deaths. Then, he began to compensate the 3 families of the female students. However, he didn't see this video. He only felt that he deserved to die. Everyone involved in this matter deserved to die. Secretary Xiang, are you crying? Do you have some awareness? It's rare for you to have such a trace of purity in your heart. But let us see your true nature. After Guo Pai finished speaking, the second video was played. The big cases of Yunshi County were dug up one by one. Yunshi County's king of hell, Xiang Xiangshan, was worthy of his name. Kill these dog officials. We must kill them. The crowd shouted loudly. The other people standing on the stage with Xiang Xiangshan began to look at the Xiang brothers with disdain. The king of hell of Yunshi County was really not ordinary. Fortunately, they were standing in the right place. Otherwise, they might have been tied to a stone and sunk into the moat like some other people. Director Gao, I'll leave this matter to you. You can be sentenced, but it can't be more than 3 years. In a small private room, although it was dark, the 2 sides of the conversation could be seen. The director of the court, Gao Hongjun, the director of the tax bureau, Li Dongsheng, and a few businessmen. Director Li, don't worry. The maximum sentence is 3 years, but we can guarantee that they will be released in 1 year. Don't worry. A few people clinked their glasses and drank the wine that cost more than 10,000 yuan. I know what this is. 3 years ago, Huaxing would close down. You know that they declared bankruptcy. This man is the boss of Huaxing Wood. At that time, he raised more than 200 million yuan in our county and declared bankruptcy. Our hard-earned money didn't come back. Later, the boss of Huaxing Wood was sentenced and the case was left unsettled. A middle-aged man said loudly. The people around also recognized who these people were. After a long time, it was the cooperation of the government and the businessmen who ruthlessly slaughtered the people of Yunshi County. Clean this place up. Reporter, what's so great about reporters? They refuse to toast only to drink a forfeit. They don't even want money. Why do they want their lives? The director and deputy director of the Environmental Protection Bureau were on the top floor of the KTV. The 2 of them directly strangled the reporter from the Capitol. Later, the report seemed to be that the reporter had sex with a young lady in the KTV. He didn't pay and was killed by the young lady's boyfriend. What a melodramatic plot. Director Zhang, it's just a small matter. That child of mine will be graduating this year. I'll need Chief Zhang's guidance in the future. Li Wanfa, the boss of Yunshi County's Wanfa Company, handed a heavy craft paper bag to Director Zhang of the county's Bureau of Land and Resources. Old Li, I've seen your son's interview results. He came in 4th place. Whether he can get in or not is still a problem. Let's go back and study it. Director Zhang walked out of the room with the craft paper bag. Li Wanfa was proud of himself. What a joke. Back then, I got 1st place in the written exam, and my interview performance was perfect. How could I lose to the son of such a person? Competing with one's father? Is it the only way? A young man holding a briefcase shook his head and received it. Lu Shang's right? Division Commander asked you not to leave. He has something to tell you later. When Lu Shangza was about to turn around and leave, he was stopped by a soldier who smiled at him. Lu Shangza was stunned, but he still obediently followed the soldier into a tent that had just been set up not long ago. Following that, nearly 100 videos were played. Most of them were from the Summer Passion KTV. There were all kinds of violations and violations of the law. Yunshi County was under strict lockdown. People who surrendered were dealt with leniently. As for those who escaped, how could they let you escape? More than 10,000 soldiers from the Northwest military region came. Did you think they were easy to deal with? Division Commander Gua, thank you for your contribution to Yunshi County. They have to confess even if they don't want to. Yunshi County's county magistrate, Gao Qingyun, looked at Guopai and said, "Today, not only were the people of Yunshi County comfortable, he was also very comfortable as the county magistrate. The Xiang family had been taken down, and most of the people who stood with the Xiang family had also been taken down. His good days were finally coming. Brother, this is Yunshi County's county magistrate, Gao Qingyun." Ma Jie had been in contact with Gao Qingyun since yesterday. He felt that this Gao Qingyun was not bad. Although he had some ulterior motives, he didn't seem like an evil person. "Oh, it's County Magistrate Gao. Come over and get to know the County Magistrate," Guo Pai said with a smile. Walked over quickly. Gao Qingyun looked at and was immediately attracted by Yu's beauty. Such beauty could only be found in heaven. "County Magistrate Gao, look. There are so many corrupt officials in Yunshi County. Are you a good official?" Yu asked with a smile. There was a trace of purple light in her eyes that was hard to detect. Then, Gao Qingyun was stunned. "Division Commander Gua, give me the microphone. I have something to say." Gao Qingyun didn't care if Guopai agreed or not. He grabbed the microphone and stood on the stage. "My name is Gao Qingyun. I have sinned." As he spoke, Gao Qingyun directly knelt on the stage that was temporarily built in the square. "I have sinned. When I first came to Yunshi County, I raped a waiter in the guest house. Later, I spent some money and nothing was done. When I was working in Yunshi County, I destroyed many reports. Otherwise, the problems in Yunshi County would have been exposed long ago. As I became an official, my ambition grew. I needed money, I needed power, and I also needed women. Of course, with the first two, the last one would be easy to deal with." Gao Qingshan recounted the evil deeds he had committed recently, as if he was telling a story. The people in the square widened their eyes. This was the only pure land left in Yunshi County in their hearts, but they did not expect it to be so dirty. In the end, the Xiang brothers, their two good sons, the father and son of the Gao family, and the officials of Yunshi County who had killed people were all executed. The higher-ups were very considerate. They were afraid that there would be problems in Yunshi County, so they directly transferred the county magistrate and county secretary of the neighboring county to manage the county for a period of time. Guopai glanced at the county secretary and county magistrate of the neighboring county. Both of them were soaked in sweat. Guopai shook his head helplessly. He hoped that they could be executed as a warning to others. All the people who were executed were taken away by the special forces of the Northwest military region. Ma Jie gritted his teeth as he looked at these people. He had come from a village to the army step by step. He didn't expect the parents and officials of the people to be like this. Ma Jie bade farewell to Guopai and personally escorted all the people to the execution ground. Guopai looked at the crowd in the square who refused to leave for a long time and stood on the platform again. Today is a day worth celebrating in Yunshi County. I hope that everyone could cheer up. The future of Yunshi County will be beautiful. I, Guopai, can come to Yunshi County for the first time, and I can come again. I hope that when I come to Yunshi County next time, I can see everyone happy. Guopai said loudly. I hope that everyone can leave in an orderly manner. After 6 o'clock tonight, the speech of Secretary Jiang of the neighboring county will be broadcasted directly on TV. I think Secretary Jiang will arrange the work in Yunshi County well. At this time, the people in the square remembered again that it was the young man on the screen in front of them who brought a new tomorrow to Yunshi County. Suddenly, a strong power of merit silently entered Guopai's body. However, Guopai was still worried about one thing: how to deal with Xiao Yunyun's wronged soul. If the wronged soul didn't disperse, it would be difficult to deal with it when the black and white impermanence of hell came. Chapter 254. Brother Bad Guy, I did a good job just now, didn't I? Yu looked at Guopai and whispered. Just now, Yu had indeed contributed a lot to Gao Qingshan's confession of all his past crimes. Of course, what kind of person is my wife? Today's matter is all thanks to you. Guopai said with a smile. You help the Buddha to the west. Look at the vengeful spirit in the sky and see if there's any way. I remember that the great shaman had many ways to steal the sky and change the sun to deceive the ghost soldiers. When you heard Guopai's words, she frowned. When she followed Sister Chang'e back then, she did a lot of such things. Back then, in order to save some descendants of the great shaman, she often played hide-and-seek with the ghost soldiers of the underworld. However, when she followed her sister in the past, most of the things were done by her sister. What kind of strength did her sister have? The power of the 13th layer. Even if she went to the underworld personally, the king of hell wouldn't dare to say anything. Difficult. Guopai looked at you, and asked softly. If there was really no way, he could only give up. He also knew that if he couldn't control the vengeful spirit well, if there was any trouble caused by this vengeful spirit in the future, it would be his problem. I only have a little bit of magic power left, but now there are many ghost soldiers of the great shaman generation. I'll think of a way to make a substitute doll later. Whether it can avoid the ghost soldiers, I'm not sure. You are said softly. Guopai nodded gently. Safety first. You must be careful. You, when nodded, took the Laojuan's gourd from Guopai and walked into the tent. Guopai wanted to follow, but Yue refused. Guopai had also heard of substitute dolls before. Only one person could do it. There were fewer and fewer people in the square. Yunshi County was like a pool of stagnant water that had been silent for a long time. Everyone threw a big stone into it, and it suddenly boiled up. Basically, all the hotels and restaurants were full. The entire Yunshi County was like a festival. Yue busied herself in the tent for about half an hour. She walked out with a pale face. Guopai hurriedly ran over to Yue. A doll that looked similar to the one in the air appeared in Yuer's hand. Yue is so silly. If you need Senior Magi's blood, Kong Fei and Daju can do it. Why do you need to use your own blood? Guopai said with a trace of heartache. The vengeful spirit is a woman. Using their blood essence won't fool the ghost soldiers. Yue said softly, Brother Bad Guy, in a while, you set up a formation to lure the ghost soldiers first. I will use the substitute doll. You suck the vengeful spirit into the gourd as soon as possible. I hope she can cooperate. If she doesn't, we can only let the ghost soldiers take her away. Her resentment is no longer enough to deter the ghost soldiers. Guopai nodded gently. He knew the formation Yue mentioned. It was the real, false yin-yang formation, which could make the ghost soldiers temporarily unable to distinguish the real from the fake. They only had 3 breaths of time. After another half an hour, Guopai placed 9 pieces of jade the size of a child's fist in a place with extreme negative energy in the square. Then he called Kong Fei and Shui Daju over. He didn't use their blood essence, but used their blood to draw a few talisman diagrams on the ground. A trace of elusive aura appeared above the 9 pieces of jade. You two stay where you are. Don't look. Not only will you make a mistake, but I won't be able to cure you if you are hurt. Guopai drove the 2 away. Of course, it was also for their sake. If Xiao Yinyun's vengeful spirit suddenly went crazy, the 2 guys in the enlightening period couldn't stop it at all. After doing all this, Guopai looked up at Xiao Yun's vengeful spirit, who was wandering in the air. Perhaps because she had been wronged, her resentment was not so great. After all, those who should be punished had been punished accordingly. But thinking that she was only 17 years old and the good time had just begun, she was not reconciled. How could she be reconciled? At this time, she looked at the square and happened to see Guopai looking at her. Girl, my husband and I don't want to see your soul disappear like this. Later, when the ghost soldiers lose their minds, they will feel that they will enter my husband's gourd. If you don't believe us, then forget it. We will only give you this chance. Yue sent out a message with her divine sense. Xiao Yun's vengeful spirit in the air was stunned, and then she nodded at Yue. At 12 o'clock, when the power of the sun was at its strongest, Yue and Guopai looked at each other. Yue suddenly threw the substitute doll into the air. At 12 o'clock, the 2 ghost soldiers were suppressed by the power of the sun. At this time, they suddenly felt the aura of the vengeful spirit on the substitute doll. Without saying anything, They directly took the substitute doll with the soul-catching chain. Xiao Yun's vengeful spirit suddenly flew to Guopai and entered the Grand Supreme Elder's gourd without hesitation. The two ghost soldiers looked at the substitute doll in their hands and felt that something was wrong, but they couldn't tell what it was. However, since they had taken the vengeful spirit, they were ready to return to the underworld. Before they left, their eyes fell on Guopai and Yu, and they couldn't help but quicken their pace. When they came to the human world, the ghost soldiers told them that they shouldn't offend Wu Xiao in the human world. Just think of the living immortal Zhang Sanfeng of the Ming dynasty. The two ghost soldiers were frightened by the aura of Guopai and broke out in cold sweat. Yu and Guopai looked at the two ghost soldiers who escaped and slowly took a deep breath. This substitute doll couldn't even fool Oxhead and Horseface, let alone the King of Hell. However, since they had already saved Xiao Yun's vengeful spirit, if the underworld really sent people to ask for it, then they would just wait and see. The seal on the heavenly court and the underworld was not small in the human world, so they wouldn't lose out if they really fought. This wicked girl is really daring. She even used a substitute doll to deceive the ghost soldiers. On the Moon Palace, Fairy Chong, he was eating a bear's paw and couldn't help but lick her fingers and say softly. It was just a simple action, but Wu Gang, who was gnawing a bone 100 meters away, almost had a nosebleed. Fairy Chong, he burst into laughter. Your complexion has recovered well in such a short time. Guopai looked at Yu and said jokingly, Brother Bad Guy, Yu has to thank you this time. I didn't expect that a vengeful spirit could bring you more merits than so many people in the square. What's wrong? Do you regret that you didn't do it yourself? Huh? Yu said with a smile. Guopai also laughed. Whether he could save the vengeful spirit or not, Yu would get the same merits as him. They were now a couple in the human world. The vengeful spirit has been saved, but if she wants to be resurrected, it depends on whether the girl has such an opportunity. Guopai said softly. Yu widened her eyes. Guopai actually wanted to resurrect Xiao Yun's vengeful spirit in another body. Fortunately, this guy was banished to the human world. Otherwise, who knew what he would do in the heavenly court? However, Guopai's words made Xiao Yun's vengeful spirit in the gourd quiver. If she could really resurrect in another body, then she could really come back to life. That would be great. Chapter 255. Little girl, behave yourself. Although that's what I said, it's against the laws of heaven to reincarnate in someone else's body. If things go wrong, I might also die. It depends on your luck. Guopai said softly to the gourd. Xiao Yun's soul inside immediately became obedient. We've been delayed for 2 days. Let's hurry to Shu Mountain. Yu looked at the sky. It had been a long time since Yunshi County had such cloudless weather. Yu said softly, let's rest today and set off tomorrow. Daju and Kong Fei have lost a lot of blood recently. Let them have a good rest. Guopai said with a smile. Let Peng Dehai roast some delicious food tonight. Ha! After that, Guopai held Yu's hand and walked straight back to the hotel. A few plainclothes people not far from them nodded gently and disappeared into the crowd. The matter in Yunshi County is settled. Although it was a bit harsh, it was still satisfying. A plainclothes man said to the phone in an inconspicuous hotel. The person on the other end of the phone was none other than the #1 chief of Huaxia that Li Dafu talked on the phone that day. You guys come back. Let the people of Shadow protect Guopai and the others. Guisianwen is an interesting grandson. You guys don't need to go back to the capital. Go directly to Wu Castle and protect old Master Gua. The #1 chief smiled and hung up the phone. The matter in Yunshi County would serve as a warning to Huaxia's officials for a long time. Brother, order whatever you want to eat today. Eat to your heart's content. I'll get you some good wine later. Drink to your heart's content. It's all on me, Peng Dehai. At 7 o'clock in the evening, the sky began to darken. Guopai's group of 5 arrived at Peng Dehai's barbecue restaurant. Peng Dehai greeted them from afar and said excitedly, Brother Hai, business is good today. The restaurant is full so early. Guopai said with a smile, I brought some ingredients today, and need your help to roast them. I know it's not in line with the rules of our barbecue restaurant, but I'm really hungry. I want you to roast some for me. I don't have anything you want to eat. Don't tell me you want me to roast dragon meat? Peng Dehai asked with a smile. Guopai didn't explain. He directly passed a pile of meat skewers that he had prepared in the hotel in the afternoon to Peng Dehai. Zhu Zi, you should learn from Brother Dehai. I reckon that Brother Dehai's shop is quite busy today. You should help me learn how to bake. Guopai said with a smile. Shui Dezhu nodded with a silly smile. Kong Fei also took the initiative to grill together. Guopai, Yuer, and Guotan Yuan sat there with smiles on their faces as they waited for the delicious food. Peng Dehai didn't stand on ceremony with Guopai and the others. He directly set up a spare barbecue rack next to the table where Guopai and the others were eating. After putting in the charcoal and various seasoning ingredients, Shui Dezhu and Kong Fei began to get busy. Boss, you guys eat the meat skewers. We're not idle either. We're eating while roasting. What kind of meat is this? It's so delicious. Kong Fei couldn't help but swallow his saliva. He reluctantly handed a handful of barbecued meat skewers to Guopai. He had eaten Guopai's food on Mount Tyrannosaurus, but this thing smelled more delicious than the one he ate on Mount Tyrannosaurus. You too, don't leave our table empty. Eat the meat skewers while they're hot. Let's try Brother Hai's wine. This wine is good. It's 30 years old new or Hong. Haha, it's flavorful and strong. Not bad, not bad. Guopai said with a smile. The wine in the human world couldn't be compared to his own aged wine, but he could still taste a different flavor. Today, Peng Dehai's barbecue shop was surprisingly popular. Several of the stored tables were all pulled out. A few people stood and ate happily. From time to time, they would take a few deep breaths. The fragrance coming from Shui Dezhu's barbecue rack made them fascinated. Dehai, you're really not honest. We're considered regular customers. Although we don't mind if you take care of Brother Guopai, the meat skewers you roasted for us are really too different from the meat skewers on Brother Guopai's table. A big man who drank more than a gin of white wine finally couldn't help but stand up and shout at Peng Dehai. Zhang Laolu, do you think I wanna? The meat skewers that bad brother roasted over there are his own. I want to eat them too. I haven't eaten a single one. Peng Dehai responded loudly. Brother, I'll give you another jar of good wine later. Can you let me try your meat skewers? Guopai looked at the expectant Peng Dehai. With a trace of alcohol, he took a handful of meat skewers and walked to Peng Dehai's barbecue rack. Once again, he spread some barbecue seasoning and started roasting by himself. Brother Hai, what did you just say? It's just some meat that I marinated myself. Try it. Guopai took half of the meat skewers and left the other half to Peng Dehai. Peng Dehai was ecstatic. He took a clean towel and wiped his hands. He picked up the meat skewers and walked to a table. Looking at the oily meat skewers, he fiercely ate one. Wife, come here quickly. I can't help it. I can't help it. If you don't come, I'll finish it all. Peng Dehai said as he ate the second skewer. Looking at the remaining 4 skewers, Peng Dehai looked at his wife who was walking over and couldn't help but eat the 3rd skewer. Bastard, how can you eat so much? You've already eaten 3 skewers. The rest are all mine. After Peng Dehai's wife finished the first skewer, she slapped Peng Dehai's bald head and said loudly. Then, she grabbed the remaining 2 skewers tightly in her hands. Wife, give me one more skewer. I beg you, just one. I don't want next month's pocket money. I don't want a single cent. I beg you, just let me eat one more. Peng Dehai almost knelt down in front of his wife. You've already eaten 3 skewers. You still want more? Hurry up and barbecue the skewers. There's so many people watching. What do you want to do? Peng Dehai's wife said loudly. She didn't know where Peng Dehai got his courage and courage. He opened his mouth and directly bit off a piece of meat on the skewer. Then, he ran to his own barbecue rack as if he was escaping. Peng Dehai, you're courting death. Just you wait. When you're done, see how I'll deal with you. The people eating the barbecue looked directly at this valiant woman. Guopai even widened his eyes. Because of the meat skewer, Peng Dehai's wife actually burst out a murderous aura. I've already eaten it. Chopping off your head is just a scar. No, I'll put down my face and ask for 2 more skewers for my bad brother. I'm busy. You can eat the rest first. After Peng Dehai finished speaking loudly, he looked at Guo Pai expectantly. Guo Pai smiled and nodded. He picked up a skewer that hadn't been barbecued and handed it to Peng Dehai. Peng Dehai looked at his wife proudly, as if he had received a life-saving straw. What are you looking at? Hurry up and barbecue. If you dare to eat one more skewer, you'll be dead. Peng Dehai's wife said loudly. The people at the table laughed. Chapter 256. The sumptuous dinner only ended at midnight. Guo Pai was generous enough to share his unfinished meat skewers with the people on Peng Dehai's table. Later, more and more people came after hearing the news. Guo Pai and his group of 5 left as if they were escaping. They did not even return to the hotel and directly drove towards Shu Mountain. Who asked you to be so smug? Great, now we have to rush through the night again. Yu pouted. My dear wife, I'm not asking you to drive. There's Kong Fei. We're not tired sitting. Isn't this a kind of cultivation? Guo Pai hugged Yu and laughed. During the trip to Shu Mountain, he and Yu each did a divination. It seemed like someone had hoodwinked them again. The mind-reading sage was having a headache. The people above seemed to be very concerned about the matters of the human world. On the Wuji peak of Shu Mountain, Taoist Buer, Inyan, one old and one young, were sitting cross-legged. There were more than 10 people lying on the ground around them. They were already lifeless. From their attire, it could be seen that 4 of them were wearing Taoist robes. They should be the Taoist priests of Shu Mountain. The remaining 8 people were dressed like ninjas. They were undoubtedly Japanese ninjas. How was the situation at Wuji Peak? Halfway up Shu Mountain, a middle-aged man wearing ninja robes asked the people beside him with his eyes closed. Master Wu Tong, the 8 people we sent out have not returned. It has been half an hour. I am afraid that they have met with misfortune. A young man said softly. Baka, 8 middle-level ninjas can't even take down Wuji Peak? Didn't they say that those old fellows in Shu Mountain are all in seclusion? Continue, all of you go up. If you can't take down Wuji Peak, then just die up there. The ninja called Wu Tung shouted loudly. The few young men rushed towards Wuji Peak. Yin, later when you go down the mountain, whether you can meet Guo Pai or little you will depend on your luck. This time, I have miscalculated. If I am lucky enough to survive, I will definitely go to Japan to play. Japan's Sakura group. Good, very good. Taoist Buer said fiercely. However, a moment later, he felt a sharp pain in his chest. He sat down cross-legged again. This time, the Sakura group had received news from an unknown source that all the Xiantian realm and above experts of Mount Shu were all in seclusion. The Sakura group had obtained a map of Mount Shu a long time ago. There were some things they needed on the Wuji Peak. Taking advantage of this opportunity, the Sakura group sent Jonin Mutu, Inuo, to the Wuji Peak with 16 Chunin and 48 Jonin to steal the Wuji tablet. Inuo Muto didn't expect that the sloppy-looking old Taoist he met on the way was actually a master among masters. Although the old Taoist Fuji could only use less than 10% of his strength with poison, the old Taoist still managed to kill all 48 Minoti shinobi in one move. None of the 8 Chunin who chased after the Wuji Peak returned. Baka, stinky old Taoist, I don't believe that you can kill all 16 of my Chunin subordinates. I don't believe that you can last long after being poisoned by my Yamata snake venom. Inuo Muto roared. Guo Pai's group of 5 had already arrived at the foot of Mount Shu after a day and night of flying. They parked the car. Naturally, they couldn't follow the tour group like tourists. The 5 of them took a few turns and arrived at a small road behind Mount Shu. Guo Pai's brows furrowed. An uncomfortable feeling enveloped him. Something had happened to Mount Shu. Something had indeed happened to Mount Shu. Otherwise, they wouldn't have left such an important place like the Wuji Peak unguarded. Of course, it couldn't be said that there was no one guarding it. 8 Peak Hotian disciples were arranged by the Mount Shu sword sect Zhang Bujing to guard the Wuji Peak with his old friend Taoist Buer. He was currently at the Divine Martial Hall, discussing the martial arts duel with the Mount Shu-Chi sect leader. Old Taoist, you're not from Mount Shu. We're just looking for something that our Sakura group's seniors left on the Wuji Peak. We don't want to have any conflict with you. Move aside, and we'll let bygones be bygones. One of the Chunin spoke to Taoist Buer in unclear Huaxia language. Your Sakura group's seniors left on the Wuji Peak? Haha, don't you think it's funny? The Wuji Peak has always been a forbidden area of Mount Shu. Don't tell me that the two sect leaders of Mount Shu lack watchdogs. Why would they let you Japanese people come to the Wuji Peak? Taoist Buer squinted his eyes and said, that Chunin clenched his fists. The other 7 people slowly spread out and surrounded Taoist Buer and Yin'er. Yin'er, go find Guopai. Not only can he heal you, you'll have a bright future if you follow him. I know you understand what I mean. To me, the end is also a new beginning. After Taoist Buer finished speaking, a broken wooden sword appeared in his hand. He looked at the 8 Chunins with disdain. Baka, kill him. He actually dares to take out a short sword like this. This is an insult to our Sakura group. After that Japanese Chunin finished speaking, he leaped and disappeared in midair. After 3 breaths, a corpse was lying at Taoist Buer's feet. The corpse's eyes were wide open, and there was a black hole in between his eyebrows. The wooden sword in Taoist Buer's hand was dripping with blood. The other 7 Chunins looked at each other. A bunch of hidden weapons were shot towards Taoist Buer as if they were free. No matter if it was the darts or the needles, the edges of the weapons were green. One look, and one could tell that they were poisonous. Taoist Buer didn't dare to be careless. He had already been poisoned by the Yamata snake's poison, but Yin'er couldn't be harmed. Taoist Buer fiercely tore off his shirt. Instantly, he used a shirt to draw circles around himself and Yun. After about 10 breaths, the Japanese Chunin couldn't shoot out any more hidden weapons. Taoist Buer's Taoist robe was already filled with all kinds of hidden weapons. I'll return your things to you. Taoist Buer's hand trembled. All the hidden weapons on his Taoist robe flew towards the 7 Chunins. Following that, the 7 of them groaned in pain. Yin'er, hurry up and leave. Taoist Buer stared at Yin'er. Yin'er gritted his teeth and walked down the path that Taoist Buer had just taken. Guy called Mudo, your people are all dead. Are you still not going to come out? Taoist Buer shouted toward a tree in the north. Inuo Mudo suddenly appeared in front of Taoist Buer. Taoist Huaxia, I have to admit that you are an expert. Even after being poisoned by the Yamata snake's poison, you can still hold on for so long. However, I don't believe that you have the ability to kill me. As long as I don't die, I will take away the things on this Wuji Peak. The deaths of our Sakura group members were worth it. Inuo Mudo said loudly. I really want to know what you guys want to take away from this Wuji Peak. Taoist Buer didn't sit down anymore. Just like what Inuo Mudo said, he didn't have the ability to fight anymore. He could feel that the overbearing Yamata snake's poison had already entered his heart meridian. It's fine to tell you. Actually, it's not that our Sakura group wants anything. We just made a deal with a Huaxia person. As for what it is, I won't say. This is the secret of Wuji Peak. Ha! Inuo Mudo said with a laugh. Huaxia person? He knows the secret of Shu Mountain. It seems that Huaxia is going to be in chaos. Taoist Buer shook his head and said, he endured the poison in his heart meridian. His eyes showed a trace of ruthlessness. He took out the short sword in his hand and stabbed towards Inuo Mudo. I admire your spirit. However, you have to die. You have to die no matter what. After Inuo Mudo finished speaking, his figure flashed and his palm landed on Taoist Buer's body. My life is over. Chapter 257. Taoist Buer. Hold your last breath. I don't think I'm too late. Taoist Buer suddenly heard a familiar voice and slowly raised his head. Guopai was looking at him with a smile. Inuo Mudo's face suddenly darkened. Boy, who are you? What are you doing here at Wuji Peak? Inuo Mudo asked loudly. Little Japanese, don't you think it's ridiculous to say such things in our Huaxia? What am I doing here? Are you stupid? Can't you see? I'm here to save people, and I'll take care of you while I'm at it. Guopai said loudly. His hands were not idle. He felt that Taoist Buer was heavily poisoned and could not be taken care of in a short time. He could only stabilize Taoist Bu Er's heart first, and then slowly take care of the poison in Taoist Bu Er's body. Senior, take this pill. Don't use your internal strength anymore. I can't guarantee that I can save you, Guopai said as he handed an emerald green pill to Taoist Bu Er. Be careful. This guy is a Japanese ninja. According to his strength, he should be a Jounin, equivalent to the enlightening stage. Taoist Bu Er took the pill, and a trace of coolness rushed to his head. He looked at Inuo Mutu and couldn't help but remind him, "You're a disgrace. You were poisoned. Sai, watch how I deal with him," Guopai said as he took a step forward and looked at Inuo Mutu with a smirk. This poison is called Orochi's poison. It seems to be the poison of the Orochi in Japan. Recently, I've been busy with Huaxia. When I'm done with my business, I'll go to Japan and get the Orochi's gallbladder. Baka, arrogant boy, you can't be disrespectful to the snake god. After saying that, Inuo Mutu suddenly disappeared. You only know a little bit of space, and you dare to show off in front of me? Come out, Guopai said as he waved his hand and slapped Inuo Mutu's face. Inuo Mutu was also hit out of the space he had just hidden in. Impossible. How did you discover me? Inuo Mutu roared. He couldn't believe that the young man in front of him, who was not even 20 years old, had such ability. It wasn't the first time he came to Huaxia, and it wasn't the first time he clashed with Wu Xiao from Huaxia. However, Guopai's strength had completely shocked him. To put it nicely, this is called upholding justice. To put it bluntly, this is called acting tough. If you don't have the strength to act tough, then it wouldn't be something shameful. Just look at you now. You failed to act tough and got F***. Guopai laughed. Taoist Bu Er couldn't help but laugh as well. Baka, you Huaxia people are the best at playing tricks. Go to hell. After saying that, Inuo Mutu disappeared again, but a moment later, Guopai slapped him out of the space again. Inuo Mutu, who was about to sneak attack Guopai, was hit on both sides of his face, and his whole face was swollen. No, I can't use ninjutsu anymore. This boy is not weak. I have to use Yamata snake venom to knock him out first. Inuo Mutu thought to himself. He put his hands behind his back and held an exquisite steel bottle in his hand. Boy, go to hell. Inuo Mutu roared and rushed towards Guopai. His right hand turned into a fist and directly hit Guopai. Guopai narrowed his eyes and naturally saw through Inuo Mutu's intention. This palm was fake, and the steel bottle behind his back was the killer move. It seemed that Inuo Mutu wanted to use poison to deal with him. Suddenly, a smirk appeared on his face. Bang! Guopai punched Inuo Mutu's palm, and then he saw Inuo Mutu looking at Guopai with a smile on his face. He opened the steel bottle in his left hand, and a black liquid sprayed towards Guopai. Brat, let's see if you can survive this time. Inuo Mutu was sent flying more than 30 meters by Guopai's punch, but when he saw the Yamata snake venom stuck to Guopai's body, Inuo Mutu could not help but shout. Yamata snake venom, interesting. Guopai frowned slightly and put an emerald green pill into his mouth. Inuo Mutu was not in a hurry to attack. The boy in front of him was obviously not as strong as the Taoist priest. The Taoist priest was poisoned and could only use 1/10 of his strength. This boy would probably die soon. Guopai looked at Inuo Mutu's expectant face and secretly smiled. In less than 10 breaths, he already knew what the Yamata snake venom was. There were many snake venoms in the world, and this kind of snake venom had no effect on Guopai. However, Guopai's next performance shocked Fu Taoist. What a sinister snake venom. I can't take it anymore, Guopai said and squatted on the ground. Then he rolled on the ground. His face slowly turned black, and his painful expression was indescribable. Haha, brat. Now you know how powerful Yamata snake venom is. Just this snake venom alone will take your life. What do you Huaxia say? Acting tough. Yes, you failed to act tough and got yourself killed. Haha. Inuo Mutu laughed and said. He no longer looked at Guopai and Fu Taoist. He went straight to the side of an inconspicuous stone table on the Wuji Peak. That person said that the stone table needs to be turned in this direction. I don't know if it's true or not. Inuo Mutu said to himself as he turned the stone table a few times. Then, with a snap, a small, exquisite wooden box appeared under the stone table. Tangyang Heavenly Book, Inuo Muta muttered to himself. Guopai suddenly got up. What was the Tangyang Heavenly Book? Even Fu Taoist probably didn't know. Or rather, no one in the entire Hua Xia should know. He didn't expect that when the limitless ancestor of Shu Mountain ascended to the heaven realm, he left this thing to his descendants. Brat, you're okay? Guopai stood up abruptly, giving Inuo Mutu a shock. However, Guopai's face had already returned to normal. He stood behind Inuo Mutu as though nothing had happened. F***, you can't be thinking that that little bit of poison can take care of yours truly, right? I'm not going to talk anymore. Give me the thing and tell me who sent you here. Yours truly will leave your corpse intact. Guopai said with a smile. At this moment, you brought Yin and the other four up the Wuji Peak. Brat, just who are you? I have to take this thing with me. How can we, the Sakura group, go back on our word? Inuo Mutu roared out. However, it was only for an instant. Guopai rushed in front of Inuo Mutu and snatched the brocade box away. Before he left, he didn't forget to give Inuo Mutu a vicious kick. Big wife, you take care of him from here. Find out who sent him to the Wuji Peak to steal things. Guopai said to you. Then, he took the brocade box and sat down on the stone table. Oomph. Good things don't even cross my mind. Even though that was what you said, she still walked over to the side of the shocked Inuo Mutu. As for Guo Yuan, his eyes were fixed on the brocade box. Even though he did not know what this Yang Heavenly Book that Guopai was talking about was, he could sense that this was no ordinary item. Big brother bad guy, he's dead. Just as Guopai was preparing to open the brocade box, you shouted out to Guopai. We haven't even used the puppet technique, and he's already dead. Someone doesn't want us to find out anything. This is getting more and more interesting. Chapter 258. Yin'er looked at the black-faced Taoist Bu'er and could not help but run to Guopai. Without much effort, she pulled Guopai to her master's side. Little Yin'er, you are so sensible. Guopai sighed and said, Senior Bu'er, according to that dog's strength, it is impossible for him to succeed in a sneak attack on you. What happened to you? All right, don't move first. Let me help you force out some of the poison in your body. Otherwise, your martial arts will be over. Taoist Bu'er did not say anything. Since Guopai said that he could help him, then he would definitely help him. In the entire Hua Xia, Taoist Bu'er believed that Guopai was the #1 in terms of medical skills. Senior has taken in a good disciple. Junior brother Tong Yuan, take a look at Yin'er first. I will do the acupuncture for Senior. After saying that, Guopai took out a purple gold sandalwood box. Unless it was a last resort, Guopai would not take out this set of needles. There is nothing to see. His life is complete, and the heavens will take his soul. Boss, don't tell me you're going to do something like this. Guopai stared at Guopai, who was ignoring him, and asked loudly. You don't have to be so loud. Junior brother is indeed powerful. You can see through Yin'er's problem with one look. Seems like Junior brother also has a way to deal with the soul deficiency disease. I'm more confident now. Guopai smiled. His hands were not idle. In a short while, all 81 silver needles were inserted into Taoist Bu'er's body. Senior Bu'er, this poison can be a great supplement. Do you want to take a gamble? If you suppress the snake poison in your body, it will definitely not be easy to form the Dan. Guopai asked with a smile. At this time, Taoist Bu'er was much better. At least he could speak normally. Cough, cough. Guopai, little you, I don't have the fortune to enjoy such good things. If little you needs them, then take them out and keep them for yourself. It's already very fortunate that I didn't die this time. This old Taoist doesn't need to consider whether or not the pills can be formed. Taoist Bu'er said with a bitter smile. Guopai, on the other hand, laughed loudly. Since Senior doesn't want it, I'll keep it for myself. After saying that, Guopai took out another long needle and stabbed it into Taoist Bu'er's arm. Then, a jade bottle appeared in his hand. Black snake venom dripped out of the silver needle. It seems that I have to take some time to go to Japan and see which friend is preparing to play a big game of Go. Guopai said to himself, "Little friend, when are you going? Call this old Taoist. This time, the Sakura group has given me such a huge gift. It's impolite not to reciprocate. No matter what, I have to return the favor." Taoist Bu said fiercely. It seemed like this time, Taoist Bu was really angry. "Guopai, little you, there's something that I don't understand. Were these Japanese ninjas trying to steal from the Wuji Peak? Senior, you're guarding the Wuji Peak. Don't you know what you're guarding?" Guopai was stunned and asked with a smile. "Cough, cough. I'm ashamed to say that I only have some connections with a few old guys from the Mount Shu sword sect. I don't know much about the secrets of Mount Shu," Taoist Buer said with a slightly red face. "Mount Shu sword sect? Mount Shu has 2 sections. Why are you guarding such an important place like the Wuji Peak with a few juniors? Is something wrong with Mount Shu?" Guopai said softly. "Damn, it can't be so coincidental. Don't tell me it's the duel of the 2 sects that occurs once every 1,000 years. Little you, the duel of the 2 sects of Mount Shu is a secret. Where did you hear this from?" This time, it was Taoist Buer's turn to be shocked. Even he, the guest elder of Mount Shu, was not allowed to enter the divine martial hall. Guopao didn't say anything more. The duel between the 2 sects of Mount Shu was indeed a secret. However, it wasn't a secret to Chun Qingyuan back then. The founder of Mount Shu back then was Jiang Wuji. Back then, he had a good relationship with Chun Qingyuan. Back then, Chun Qingyuan had advised Jiang Wuji not to create a sword sect or qi sect. However, Jiang Wuji wasn't someone who would listen to others' advice. He insisted on splitting Mount Shu into sword sect and qi sect. "Senior Buer, heal your injuries first. After that, help Yun Air. I will bring you to the divine martial hall of Mount Shu. It's not some secret. It's been tens of thousands of years, and it's always been the same thing," Guopai said with a smile. Taoist Buer did not ask any more questions. Guopai had many secrets. Thinking about it, in the entire Huaxia, he was probably the only one who could deal with the Orochi snake venom. Although Guopai could deal with the Orochi snake venom, the process was still very troublesome. Most of the snake venom had to be expelled through the silver needles. However, since he was not going to use the snake venom, he had to expel it completely. Guopai used the materials on the ground and made a big hole on the Wuji Peak. He asked Shuedazhu and Kong Fei to fill the hole with water. After that, he mixed some herbs and put them in. Taoist Buer was tormented quite badly. Fortunately, the Orochi snake venom in his body was cleaned. It could be considered a blessing in disguise. "Little you, this time, this old Taoist owes you another favor." Taoist Buer changed his clothes and said to Guopai with a smile, "We're on the same side. You're treating me like an outsider," Guanati said with a smile. He had a good impression of Taoist Buer. The key point was that Taoist Buer had taken in a perfect disciple. Although Taoist Buer was missing a soul, such an opportunity could only be encountered by chance. "It's already late today. Let's eat something first," Guopai said with a smile. The 2 big guys volunteered to get some wood. The thing that Mount Shu did not lack the least was wood. However, only someone like Guopai would dare to light a fire at the peak of Mount Shu. "Little you, there's something I have to tell you. I have a good relationship with Zhang Bujing of the Mount Shu sword sect. Do you think the box that the Japanese didn't steal can be returned to Mount Shu?" Taoist Buer said with a smile. "You mean the Tongyang Heavenly Book? To be honest, Mount Shu doesn't need this thing. In the whole of Huaxia, only you and I use it. You don't have to worry about this. When we go to the martial god point, I'll take care of those old Neo noses," Guopai said with a smile. Taoist Buer's face was filled with black lines. Didn't Taoists hate people calling them old Neo noses? "Cough, cough. Senior, don't take it personally. I'm not talking about you," Guopai said with a smile. "Let's eat first. After we eat and drink to our fill, we'll start helping Yin recover that soul succubus tomorrow morning. For this soul succubus, I've spent a lot of effort." When Taoist Bu Er heard Guo Pai's words, he was instantly energized. He wasn't sure how much effort Guo Pai had spent. However, in order to gather the things that Guo Pai wanted, he had turned Mount Shu and the other big mountains of Huaxiao upside down. He owed a lot of favors and had finally gathered everything. Boss, you didn't drink much today. Let me tell you, this isn't easy to do. If you don't do it well, you might even lose your life. Guo Pai looked at Guo Pai and said softly, the things that God took away, you just have to add back. Why are you so awesome? Aren't you just giving God a hard time? Chapter 259. Guo Pai raised his head and looked at the sky. The moon tonight was exceptionally round. Although there were still some things that he didn't understand after coming down from the heavenly court, Guo Pai vaguely understood some things. Since he was going to do it, he might as well do it properly in the lower realm. Furthermore, since that person from a moon palace sent you down to the lower realm, that person from the moon palace should take care of everything. Boss, you have to think carefully. Although I know about my past and present life, I can't help much with the matter of the soul returning to the body. This is equivalent to going against the heavens and changing one's fate. If things go wrong, we might really lose our lives. Guo Tongyuan muttered carefully. Junior brother, leave this matter to me. When the time comes, you just need to help me set up a few formations. It's a pity that you can't find those magical treasures from before. Otherwise, we could do it openly in front of that person from the heavens. He can't do anything to us, haha. Guo Pai said with a smile. Guo Tongyuan's face was filled with black lines. Can't do anything to us? Back then, this old Taoist was almost turned into ashes. On the night of the full moon, Guo Pai set up a formation on the Wuji Peak of Shu Mountain. Waves of energy gathered on the Wuji Peak. If other Wuxios saw this, they would definitely fight to get their hands on the Wuji Peak. However, Guo Pai's second formation caused the scene just now to darken. A bunch of bastards from Shu Mountain. There are only so many resources on Earth. It's not easy to wait for the night of the full moon, but they are actually using different methods to snatch it. A bunch of damned cow noses. Peng Tianhua of Buzhou Mountain looked at the changes in the direction of Shu Mountain and said angrily. However, there was nothing he could do. In the past, there were at least 2 people on Buzhou Mountain. Now that Lao Qin was busy with something and had yet to return, he could only wait for Lao Qin to return and ask him what was going on outside. Guo Pai is really daring, as expected of someone who was sent down from the heavens. If this was in the past, he would have been tormented to death by those loose cultivators on Earth. Even Zhang Sanfeng would not have dared to be so overbearing. Guo Tongyuan thought to himself as he enjoyed the abundant moonlight. After a night of recovery, the one who benefited the most was not Guo Pai, but Taoist Buer. Not only were his injuries completely healed under the abundant moonlight, he even faintly comprehended the way of the void core. Guo Pai couldn't help but sigh at his good luck. Come here, Yin-Er. I have something to tell you. Guo Pai looked at little Yin-Er, who was dressed in Dao robes, and chuckled. Master. Yin looked at Guo Pai and called out softly. Master? Haha, good. You didn't lose out by calling me master. Senior Buer, no matter if Yin-Er called me master or if he called me master of his own free will, I will accept the title of master. Guanati laughed, and Taoist Buer laughed as well. With Yin-Er's intelligence and the things that Senior Buer has told you these days, you should know what we're going to do today. Guo Pai said with a smile. The soul returning to the body is not a small matter. I don't have 100% confidence. Yin-Er knows. However, Master Buer said that if there is one person in this world who can save Yin-Er, it would be you, Bad Master. Yin-Er said softly. Furthermore, Yin-Er is already lucky to have survived all these years. Yin-Er's words not only made Guo Pai's eyes light up, even Guo Tongyuan's eyes widened. To have such a state of mind at such a young age, it was rare. Senior, take out the things that I asked you to prepare. Yin-Er's state of mind is not bad. At the beginning, I had a 70% confidence. Now that junior brother Tongyuan is here, I have a 90% confidence. Guo Pai said with a smile. Hearing Guo Pai's words, old Taoist Tongyuan braced himself and took a step forward. No matter what, He could not admit defeat. Back then, the Nine Wrath Heavenly Thunder did not take his life. This time, it was just a support. The problem would not be too big. I will leave everything to you guys, Taoist Buer said as he placed a pile of things in front of Guopai. Guopai nodded his head lightly. This old Taoist had really put in a lot of effort for Yun-Er. Not to mention that he had prepared everything. The quality was not low either. Guopai took out a small jade bottle and said to the succubus in Bugyaku with a smile, "You heard our conversation, right? Be honest with me. You have two options now. Cooperate with me to enter Yun-Er's body and become his succubus. Otherwise, I will erase the last trace of your consciousness and implant it into Yun-Er's body. No matter what, I have 10,000 years of cultivation. You want me to enter this kid's body? Aren't you afraid that I will destroy this kid?" The succubus transmitted a message. Even the heavens cannot destroy him. If you want to destroy him, you can try. During these days, Guopai had also figured out the origin of this succubus. It really gave him a shock. He did not expect this succubus to be the soul of an ancient golden core stage expert. It was similar to old Taoist Tong Yuan. However, it was slightly weaker than old Taoist Tong Yuan, leaving only a succubus behind. What benefits do I have? The succubus in the bottle waited for 3 minutes before asking softly, "Benefits? I really don't know how you managed to cultivate to the golden core stage back then. Haven't you heard of the 10 innate perfections? Do you think we have to use a succubus like you? The benefits are that we're giving you a chance. Do you understand? I won't waste time with you." Since we are in Shu Mountain, there are many good things here. I am confident that I can create a succubus. You can stay in this bottle for the rest of your life, Guopai said loudly. Upper Immortal, don't be angry. I was wrong. I know I was wrong. I will cooperate with you and become this kid's succubus. I swear on the Soul God that if I have any thoughts of betrayal, the heavens will not tolerate it. When the succubus heard that Guopai was angry, it naturally knew what Guopai was capable of. How could it dare to ask for any benefits? Rather than staying in the bottle for the rest of its life, it would rather follow a person with the 10 innate perfections. At least it would have limitless glory in the future. "Bitch, if I don't scold you, you won't know what's good for you," Guopai said with a smirk. This was enough to scare the succubus. Guopai took out Taoist Buer's 5 elemental stone, mountain suppressing stone, 81 types of beast bones, 72 types of essence blood, and those 100-year-old ginseng and lingji mushrooms. Guopai arranged everything neatly. If he wanted the succubus to return to its body, the biggest challenge was to deceive the heavens. That was the guy in the heavenly court that no one had ever seen before. Legend had it that he was in charge of the rules. That substitute doll you made the other day was very interesting. Do you have any good suggestions for me to let the succubus return to its body?" Guopai looked at who was helping him arrange things, and asked with a smile. "This time, the succubus returning to its body is very similar to my substitute doll. However, it is much more difficult." Said softly, "Try to make the person in charge of the rules focus on these things the moment the succubus returns to its body. Once the succubus returns to its body, it will not be able to interfere with this matter. After all, Yun-Er's succubus is with him. Even if he does not want to appear in full, he will not be able to steal the same person's succubus twice." Guopai nodded lightly. His side was ready. He walked over to Taoist Buer and to Zhu Kong Fei's side. The succubus returning to its body would take about half an hour. If someone came to the Wuji Peak during this time, whether it was intentional or not, they could interrupt the succubus returning to its body. If that was the case, Yun-Er would definitely die. Guopai's life would be uncertain. Chapter 260. Taoist Buer led Xuedazhu and Kong Fei to set up a defense on 3 sides of the Wuji Peak. 1 Shudan realm expert and 2 enlightened realm experts. With such a formation, it was enough to deal with most things. Even if someone could break through the 3 of them, there was still a big boss like Yur above them. No matter how one looked at it, there should not be a problem. Guopai and Tong Yuan set up 3 large formations on the Wuji Peak. Actually, Guotong Yuan and Guopai both knew that it was impossible for these formations to fool the person in the sky. However, if they did not do so, they would feel that something was missing. Yin Er followed Guopai's request and stood in the middle of the Wuji Peak. The entire Wuji Peak suddenly darkened. Guopai nodded his head lightly. Guotong Yuan's three large formations combined with his heaven-shrouding formation, with Yin Er as the center of the formation, resulted in this effect. Mei Hun was released from the jade bottle. The formation in front of him gave him a shock. Although he did not know what kind of formation was set up on the Wuji Peak, he could feel the pressure of the formation. Even when he was in the Golden Elixir realm, he could not complete such a large formation. The last bit of hope in Mei Hun's heart disappeared completely. He walked step by step towards Yin Er. Mei Hun, Yin Er is the main, and you are the support. Enter the body of the Mei Hun. Believe me, this time you and Yin are together. It is definitely a win-win situation. Guanati chuckled. 9 silver needles pierced into Yin Er's body as the spirit succubus attached itself onto Yin Er's body. Moments later, the spirit succubus entered Yin Er's body. However, it would take at least half an hour for the spirit succubus to truly enter Yin Er's body. Rumble. The moment the Mei Hun entered Yin Er's body, the originally dark sky started to rumble with thunder. Guopai looked up at the sky and could not help but take a deep breath. Yin Er was the center of the formation, and he was the support. He hoped that nothing would go wrong. In the depths of the Heaven Lake in the Chongbai Mountains, the shriveled old man opened his eyes again. Or rather, when you used the puppet technique on Inuo Mutu, this old man had already woken up. A terrifying energy caused all the living things in the Heaven Lake to quickly escape. Who? Who is it? Who killed my disciple and ruined my plans? Who is it? The old man roared, and the 36 ceiling stones around the cavern shook violently. They were almost shaken off by the old man. Shu Mountain. Now is the time when the two sects of Shu Mountain are fighting. No one can stop those guys from Fusong. I want to know who ruined my plans. As soon as the old man finished speaking, in a small town at the foot of Mount Shu thousands of miles away, more than 10 Wuxiu warriors, the weakest of whom was already at the peak of the Xiantian realm, ran towards the Wuji Peak at the peak of Mount Shu, as if they were flying. Only these Wuxiu are left. If they still can't find out who it is, this old man's plan will have to wait for another 10,000 years. After the shriveled old man finished speaking, his whole body fell into a dead silence again. Boss, you is really daring to follow that mind-reading perfected lord. They are actually preparing to do such a thing in the lower realm. Do you need to inform that person? Wu Gang stood behind Chong and looked at a large light reflecting mirror. It was a scene where Guopai and others were busy setting up the formation just now. Why should I inform him? He didn't even care that the old man Hong Jun helped Ho to reincarnate in a body. Will he help me with such a small matter? Fairy Chong said loudly. I seem to have guessed one thing right. It turns out that I am not the only one who is preparing to play a big game of chess. Boss, what do you mean? Wu Gang scratched his head and asked in a low voice. Pig brain? You're a pig brain. You're so big. What is in your head? I want to open it now. Chong stared at him and said loudly, when mind-reading perfected lord was banished to the lower realm, do you really think that he peeped on me taking a bath, as Erlang Shun's stupid uncle said? Ahem, I didn't believe it at first. But later, after hearing what he said, I started to believe it. As the saying goes, the lust is great. Wu Gang whispered. Bang! Wu Gang flew back 1,000 meters. Scram for me. Call the monkey over. I have something to ask him. Boss, I wonder why you asked Wu Gang to call me over. Sun Wukong stood on a 7-colored auspicious cloud and stopped outside the Moon Palace. He looked at Chong, who was walking out, and asked with a smile, You are really comfortable being the victorious fighting Buddha. Back then, I helped you a lot. Don't you know how to come and see me? Chong, he said with a smile. Sister, you have wronged me. My life now is not as good as when I was in Huagua Mountain. Nothing is easy to do. It is also very troublesome to come to your Moon Palace. Sun Wukong said with a smile. I wonder why you called me over this time. Back then, you accompanied Golden Cicada on the path of merit. When you passed by Nightmare Mountain, you seem to have encountered a lot of trouble. Chong, he said with a smile. Sister, why are you mentioning that? I was lucky back then. Otherwise, I would have been killed by that nightmare demon. Sun Wukong said with a smile. In the end, it was thanks to Dipankara Buddha's help that I was able to kill that nightmare demon. Sister, could it be that something happened in Nightmare Mountain again? Sun Wukong, did you really kill Nightmare Demon with a stick back then? Chong, he did not answer Sun Wukong's question. Instead, she asked with a smile, are you sure you were not in a dream when you killed him? I'm sure. Dipankara Buddha was also there. Buddha said that once the matter was settled, I should quickly take my master to the west. I left Nightmare Mountain with Buddha. Sun Wukong's expression suddenly became serious. Yes, back then, he did hit Nightmare Demon's head with a stick. Nightmare Demon did not have any aura at all. Could this be a trap? Go back. If you have time, go and find Dipankara Buddha. Things back then are getting more and more interesting. After Chong, he finished speaking, she left Sun Wukong with a puzzled face. Sun Wukong was straightforward. He flew towards Dipankara Buddha's dojo. After about 10 minutes, the 12 Wuxiu had arrived at Wuji Peak. They could vaguely see the situation at Wuji Peak. Of course, Taoist Buer had also noticed the 12 Wuxiu. Everyone, please wait. Taoist Buer stopped in front of the 12 people. Shushan's sect is in seclusion. Shushan is not receiving guests recently. Please go back. Senior Buer, you are not from Shushan. We want to go to Wuji Peak. It has nothing to do with you. A burly man said loudly. It has nothing to do with me. But recently, something happened at Wuji Peak. It has something to do with me. Please go back. Since you know me, please give me some face. Taoist Bu said with a smile. However, his palms were sweating. Among the 12 Wuxiu, there was actually a fasting expert. One must know that the number of fasting experts in Huaxia could be counted. For such an expert to appear at this juncture, it seemed like a disaster rather than a blessing. After a moment, the fasting expert narrowed his eyes and said, Taoist Buer, move aside. I haven't found trouble with you regarding my martial nephews. You don't have to care about today's matter. Your martial nephews? You are from Shushan sect. Taoist Buer, he thought for a moment. If there was anyone who had a conflict with him recently, it would be the disciples of Shushan sect that he killed on the plain. Chapter 261. Let's end this quickly. The old man roared and rushed to the front of Taoist Buer. There was a gap between the early stage of Anidia and Taoist Buer, but Taoist Buer didn't dare to be careless. This was because the old man used a killer move right from the start. The other 11 people didn't stay idle either. Kong Fei and Xuedazhu had already rushed over from the other side. However, even if Taoist Buer was holding back 4 masters, the other 8 people were still suppressing Kong Fei and Xuedazhu. Kong Fei was still fine, but Xuedazhu was already injured in less than 10 rounds. Little Feidazhu, don't hold back. Kill them with all your might. After Taoist Fuer knocked down an enlightening stage master, he shouted loudly. This time, the 12 people were the same as those Japanese people. They used their killing moves as soon as they came up. Taoist Fuer was also depressed. His injuries had just recovered, but now he was injured again under the joint attack of these people. Senior, we can't stop them. They are too cruel. They don't even care about their own lives. Every move is a killer move. Kong Fei and Xuedazhu gathered together. Kong Fei said while panting. There were still 8 people who could stand in front of the 3 of them. However, Xuedazhu's shoulder and thigh had many injuries. He couldn't continue fighting anymore. Taoist Buer, if you don't move away, don't blame us for killing you. The other Anidia master said loudly. We can't let them pass, even if we die. If they rush up the Wuji Peak, Guopai and Yin will be in danger. Taoist Buer gritted his teeth and said loudly. Xuedazhu and Kong Fei's eyes were red. Kong Fei reached out and pulled Xuedazhu, who wanted to rush forward. Dazhu, Take a rest first. These small fries aren't even enough for me to deal with." As he said that, Kong Fei's body exploded with a terrifying aura. Even Taoist Bu was stunned. The power that Kong Fei was showing now was a real Inidia master. Brother Fei Yu, Shuedaju was stunned. He wanted to say something, but he couldn't say a word. Of course, he knew why Kong Fei's sense of power suddenly became so strong. Wasn't it because of the senior Magus's secret magic taught by Guopai? At first, Guopai didn't plan to tell Shueju and Kong Fei about the senior magi, but since he had always taken their blood, Guopai finally couldn't help but tell them about it. He also told them about some secret methods of using the senior magi's blood. He didn't expect that they would really use it this time. You actually hid your strength just now. Who exactly are you?" The old man from Shu Mountain roared. Kong Fei, who had been through hundreds of battles, didn't waste time. His fist was already in front of the old man. Bang! The old man flew back more than 30 meters. Kong Fei stood firmly. "Who am I? When you wanted to kill us just now, you didn't ask who I am. I'm the one who wants your lives." After saying that, Kong Fei charged towards the remaining 7 people. In less than 3 minutes, all 8 of them, including the old man, were lying on the ground, losing their ability to fight. Young people these days are really ruthless. What kind of attack did Guopai teach this kid? How did he become so strong all of a sudden? Taoist Buer didn't even make a move this time. The 8 people opposite him were all defeated by Kong Fei alone. Kong Fei, protect your heart. You really have guts. As soon as it was over, Guotan Yuan appeared in front of them. Yin Er's soul, entering her body, was very successful this time. It will be done in a few minutes. Guopai heard the sound of fighting below and asked Guotan Yuan to come down and take a look. He didn't know if he didn't see, but when he saw it, he was shocked. He didn't expect this big guy to really use the senior Magus's blood. Kong Fei was stunned. Suddenly, he felt his legs go soft and squatted on the ground. He couldn't use any strength in his body. Damn it. With this body, you dare to use the senior Magus's blood. It's lucky that you didn't die. Guotan Yuan said as he stuffed a purple pill into Kong Fei's mouth. I can't deal with your situation. Let's wait for the boss to come and take a look. Senior Magus. It's actually the descendant of a senior Magus. I haven't caused trouble for you guys all these years. You guys actually let your descendant cause trouble for me. Just you wait. When I recover my true body, you guys will all die. All of you will die. Under the Heaven Lake, the shriveled old man roared angrily. The 8 Wuxiu from Shu Mountain who were still alive suddenly lost all their vitality. Dead? They're actually dead? Looks like someone is really playing a big game of chess. Guotan Yuan quickly noticed that the 8 people had lost their vitality and shook his head. Rumble. About 8 minutes later, thunder roared in the sky. The others didn't pay much attention to it, but Guotan Yuan couldn't help but shrink his neck. He was familiar with this thunder. This was the thunder of heaven's wrath. Damn, it attracted the heavenly thunder at this critical moment. Guopai, who was standing next to Yin couldn't help but say, I can handle 3 heavenly thunder of wrath. But if it's 6 heavenly thunder of wrath, then we'll have to rely on our luck. Guopai pulled out the old lord's gourd, changed his clothes into a Taoist robe, and pulled out an 8 trigrams diagram. Then he looked up at the sky. This thunderclap woke up many people. All the people in Huaxia who had entered the fasting period all looked at Shu Mountain. Even the 2 patriarchs who were discussing the martial arts battle in the Divine Martial Hall were stunned. Bujing, Fei Tianyang said, Mr. Bu is on the Wuji Peak. Don't tell me he's about to break through to the Golden Core stage. Brother Bu is already at the peak of the fasting stage, Zhang Bujing said softly. But I don't think he's strong enough to break through to the Golden Core stage. He's not the only one on the Wuji Peak. Let's not worry about him for now. Now that we're in the Divine Martial Hall, we can't leave. If we do, we won't be able to continue with the martial arts competition. Fei Tianyang nodded. A year. It hasn't even been a year. What's Huaxia up to? Why are there so many top experts here? Beneath a painting of cherry blossoms on Mount Fuji, Japan, an old man was shouting. Where did Inuko Muda go? Why haven't I seen him lately? And what about the medicinal pills I asked you to find in the imperial capital? Exalted Captain Inuko Mutu went to Huaxia, one of the middle-aged men said softly. He didn't tell me anything before he left. He went with 16 Chunin ninjas and one of the shedding cherry blossoms. As for the medicinal pills in Huaxia, we've already made some progress. They came from a place called Bugyaku, and their clinic is in Wu Castle. Huaxia, the old man said, closing his eyes. It seems I'll have to make a trip to Huaxia. Have you found out how that brat from the Capricorn Temple died? In an ancient manor in northern Europe, an old man asked, his eyes closed. Little Tion is a special ability user from Huaxia. How could he have died? Pontifex Maximus, a red-robed missionary, said. I haven't heard back from the Menses. Apparently, something happened to the Xiahou clan. Huaxia has produced quite a few top experts in the past year. Send the Ares Temple to Huaxia. If there's any news, report it to me immediately. With that, the red-robed missionary vanished. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.